All right, guys. So my Disney trade's going really well, man. Nice little bounce back from $90, basically 97. He's all the way to 92.50. He's almost 93. So that looks good. We'll keep adding to that one, but so far that one looks good. Today we have retail sales data dropping at 8:30. We also have HD earnings, Home Depot being live today too. Hey, what's up, David? All right, guys. So it's a new day. Honestly, I don't. All right, guys. All right, guys. So slight gap down today and everything. Disney gapping down a little bit. But everything else is slightly gapping down. I mean, you can see Tesla pretty much flat on the day. SPY down some, but not a huge amount. We've really been sideways for a while now. Retail sales today coming out. They are expected to drop at 8:30. Retail sales expected at 0.8%. 0.8%. Core retail sales expected at 0.4%. And so in retail sales, core retail sales is actually the most important data. So this is actually relevant for sure. Hey, what's up, Snow? What's up, Rock? All right, so HD just posted their earnings. All right, so HD did just post their numbers. HD posted, they lowered their outlook. They posted 382, beat the 380 estimate. Sales of 37.26, missed the 38.38 million estimate. We'll put this number up in chat so people see it, but here is the Home Depot numbers. It's right below you. You're right below me. What's up, Ricky? My indicator is if people scream that tomorrow everything will crash, I buy everything before the not coming crash. Then people get out of shorts. So that then I ride the squeeze. Hey, honestly, probably not a bad idea, dude. Again, I've seen it so much here, man. Like I'm so skeptical of crashes at this point in time. Like it's probably to a fault if I'm being honest, though. Like it honestly really is probably to a fault at this point in time. Like I've seen it happen so much that I'm probably a little bit I'm probably ignoring some signs here because, again, I've just seen it happen so much where people are like, the crash is here, y'all aren't ready, and the next week we're gonna get crazy doom, market's gonna crash. Like I see it all the time. And then when I remind them like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I'm like, hey, remember you guys said we would crash last week. Then it's just kind of, oh, you're a hater, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, what are y'all talking about, man? Like, listen, I'm just bringing it up. You know, I'm just bringing it up. I'm just bringing it up. You know, listen, we don't always have to crash, but I think at this point in time, even if we were going to crash, I wouldn't see it now because I'm so used to all the crash predictors. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, I guess, is the best example. I've heard so many people predict a catastrophic market crash imminently, over the next month. And this was like 6 months ago that, even if I saw the signs for a crash, I'd probably ignore them at this point in time because at this point I'm conditioned to not trust any of those guys because they've been wildly wrong. And so I think the natural state of the market is you got a certain percentage of people that are pushing for a market crash universally throughout the entire, year. And so, in that regard, I think eventually you got to learn to just tune them out and then just look at the signs. You don't want to ignore the signs that a crash could be happening soon, but you also don't want to just blindly believe them because people like Michael Burry will say it over and over again, and it's generally never right. They were right in 2008, but they've said it about 20 times since then, and they've been wrong each time, but people hang on their every word still. So All right, guys. So, all right, there we go. Sorry, I'm muting the music here. Music is back. Yeah, I mean, people people have started to recognize. I don't know. I'm not going to short WAL. Somebody saying, "Hey, short WAL." I'm not personally. Um, I just think this is one of those plays that if you're wrong, you're going to be wildly wrong. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it's at least a 50-50 shot that WAL fails short term. But man, I just said that really country fails. But I think there's at least a 50-50 chance WAL fails. And if it does, it's going to get rough for this stock. But I think if it doesn't fail, it's going to rip back up, and probably people are going to renew confidence in them, and so I think there's risk in shorting this. So it needs to be a trade that you're okay with losing whatever you're investing into it. That's the only way I would take a trade like that. Just be careful, I guess is the point. SEC says crypto regulatory clarity may take years and they're in no rush. Yeah, the crazy part is that, like, okay, so the SEC says that crypto regulatory clarity may take years and they're in no rush for it, but they're suing exchanges before they put up that clarity. So it's like, okay, so you're going to wait years to really clarify what crypto is, yet during that point in time, or during that period of time, you're also going to sue Coinbase and other exchanges based off of no clarity behind it. It's absolutely crazy. SEC, like, what are y'all thinking? Like, that's not the right way to do things. Okay, it's just not the right way to do things. You know. So I hear Elon might be stepping down from CEO today. Have you heard anything? He's going to be on CNBC for an hour and a half at 6:00. Oh man, do they have some dirt on him or something? Stepping down from Tesla? That's crazy if he is. Oh wow. That's crazy, man. If hmm. Yeah, but they're only subpoenaing him. I don't know if I'm saying that right. They're only subpoenaing him to get testimony on JP and its relationship. So he's not in trouble. But if he's stepping down as Tesla CEO, which is like his baby, like I can only imagine that Tesla's going to tank if that happens. So if Elon steps down, what do you guys think will happen? Yeah, so U.S. government going to crack down on crypto exchanges. All right, guys. So uh all right, guys. So WAL, so banks are actually up a little bit. The SPY is down some, but it's trying. So Wall Street Journal article indicated that Zachary, the CFO, has been considered. Yeah, I mean, generally that's the move, is that they put the CFO back in the CEO spot. But yeah, what makes you? I guess the question I have here, guys, is what makes you guys think he's stepping down from Tesla? Is the real question. Like, what makes you guys think he's stepping down from Tesla? Like, wouldn't it make more sense that he's just announcing the Twitter step down? You know? Francis Ngannou signs with PFL, the Professional Fighters League. Equity and leadership roles. All right, guys. So WAL moving up. We'll see if it drags the rest of the market up with us too. Yeah, I mean, I get getting old. Maybe step it down. Again, I'm not really like, I'm pretty neutral. I wouldn't jump to conclusions yet. You know. He should have signed the deal with UFC. Yeah, I agree completely, Ricardo. I mean, I think Francis dropped the bag a little bit, and I think he could have made so much more in the UFC, way more. And I think here's the problem. All right, like here's the actual problem. Is that like people get mad at people in the UFC, but the UFC is the biggest, and it's really the only other truly healthy MMA organization, right? Like all the other ones are on the brink of failure pretty consistently. And so they do have that benefit of being able to pay the fighters whatever they want because they're really the only, good one out there. Like, yeah, there's Bellator. Yeah, there's like ONE FC. ONE FC is not super popular in the US. I mean, it's somewhat popular, but it's certainly not what the UFC is in terms of like name recognition and brand. And so it really is the only big one out there. What I think is that I think Jones was afraid to fight Francis to a certain extent. I think especially after Francis showed the takedown defense, I think Jones was a little bit nervous about fighting him. Jones literally asked for 3 times more than any UFC fighter had ever, or no, I think Jones had asked for like 10 times more or something crazy. 10 times more money than any UFC fighter had ever made for a fight. And to a certain extent, some of it was justified, but I think Jones was also nervous, and I think he priced himself out of that fight because I think Jones is getting old and he doesn't really want to fight Francis. And I think Francis is getting old and he doesn't really want to fight Jones. And so I think they kind of priced themselves out of the fight. And then I think I can respect what Francis was fighting for. I really can. Like I can respect that. I understand wanting to get fighters paid more. I truly do understand that. And if I have to pick a side, I'm on the side of the fighters for sure. But I can't imagine that this was a good decision for Francis's career, and I can respect him for doing it. But I think he obviously would have been better if he stayed in the UFC. He would have made more. He would have had more. The biggest thing he's missing out on now is the network of the UFC. Like if Francis stayed in the UFC and didn't betray them like that, he would be safe through his old age, right? Like the UFC is going to give him different opportunities, a good network around way more than he has now. And now you could see like Francis's big thing is he wanted to do boxing. He couldn't find anybody to box him. Nobody wanted to box him. Like he would have announced that boxing fight already. And so now he's just kind of going back to one of the smaller MMA leagues, the PFL. And again, he couldn't find anybody to box him. Like that's obvious because if he did, Francis is getting old. He doesn't have time to do more MMA fights if he wants to do boxing. He should do boxing now and then do an MMA fight or whatever. But he's lost that ability to get his name out there in the UFC. So I think it's going to be tough for Francis, unfortunately. I hope he does well. I hope I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. But yeah. Yeah, but Gane doesn't have any takedown defense. Francis does. So Gane has mostly fought strikers. Never fought a wrestler. Francis fought Curtis Blades, or who was it last time? Francis fought somebody that tried to take him down over and over and over again last time, and Francis actually held up, didn't let him take him down, beat him up, slow, stopping takedowns. I think Francis would give Jones a little bit more trouble than people think. And don't get me wrong here. I think Jones is the greatest UFC fighter there's ever been, without question. I think it's not even arguable. I think there might be a little bit of asterisk next to his name because of the steroid stuff from years ago. But I think regardless of any of that, Jones is certainly the greatest light heavyweight there's ever been. And I think Jones has had the most impressive run of any UFC fighter ever, including the only exception is maybe Khabib. That's the only exception, is maybe Khabib. But I think Jones is the GOAT, probably. So I'm not hating on Jones. All right, I like Jones. I think Jones is probably the GOAT. Right. I think he's had the most impressive run. I think his run is more impressive than Khabib's in a lot of ways too, because he stuck around where Khabib beat a couple champs and then retired. Jones has stuck around basically and beat everybody he could imagine in that weight class, except for Francis. But I think the only problem stopping Jones from being in that category is his reluctancy to move up to heavyweight. I think he said he was going to move up to heavyweight. Now that he did, he's really kind of cherry picking his fights. He's wanting to fight Stipe, who's kind of old at this point. Like, let's be honest here. He's wanting way too much money to fight Francis. Like, I think that's the biggest problem with Jones. But again, even if he doesn't fight anymore, even if he retired today, I still think he's probably the GOAT, especially at the light heavyweight division. All right, anyways. Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm going to talk about whatever I want. If I talk about sports for 5 minutes, y'all will be okay. Y'all can go watch somebody else if y'all don't want to watch it. No offense. It's not reasonable to expect me to only talk about stocks and only stocks. Like, that's not a reasonable expectation. So be reasonable. AMC gap it up a little bit today at 519s. Disney, again, we're in Disney. Disney had a crazy big comeback yesterday. We'll see if it holds. Google has been flying up. So Google has had one of the biggest bull runs of the year. Realistically, Google has gone from $90 in February all the way to $120 today in May. That's a crazy big run. That's a huge run. Yeah, exactly, Ricardo. I don't think he was big enough to get a big deal somewhere else. Snap. Yeah, remember, guys, I bought the dip and Snap at like 7s. You remember that? Yeah, like high 7s, I bought the dip. I bought the dip of Disney right now, too. We'll give it time. They should sign Zuckerberg. All right, we're going to do a poll. Does the retail sales release help or hurt the financial markets? Help, hurt. All right, so yeah, vote on this poll. We got the poll. Does the retail sales release help or hurt the financial markets? Vote on that poll. I think that's a good poll to ask here. So gold dipping down a little bit today. What do you guys think about that? Should I get involved with Forex sometimes? I mean, I know the New York session is at what, 8 a.m.? Bro, you know who lies the most out of all these guru influencers? You know who lies the most? Forex traders. They really do, bro. I'm looking at this like how I made $1 million yesterday. It's like, dude, shut up, man. Like, you know, this is a paper account. Paper accounts are rampant in Forex. Like, get out of here with that, dude. You know? It's like, we posted this other short yesterday. I want to see the short we posted. It's absolutely true, bro. We'll end up, yeah, dude, we posted this short. I'll go ahead and post it on Twitter, but we posted this yesterday, and it's honestly absolutely true. Like, this is just absolutely true. Like, look at this, dude. All right, like, y'all pay attention to this. This is hilarious, right? 2% a day is what this person tells you to do, right? Yeah. Indifferent, yeah. But no, listen to what this person says, bro. I talked about this yesterday. It's honestly genuinely crazy, bro. It shows how many like suckers there are in the market that buy this stuff, that eat this stuff up, right? Again, if you find yourself believing this, understand that somebody has manipulated you, all right? If you find that you're actually believing what this person's about to say, again, you are very misled in the markets, all right? And with compounding, it would be even worse.
So if you started with $300 and you grew at 2% every single day for 260 days, you're going to end up with over $11,000 in your trading account.
She's saying, hey, if you make 2% daily, what a ridiculous expectation. It's never going to happen. She has no idea what she's talking about, and she's just hoping that people think she's pretty, and so they buy her course or whatever it is. That's all this is. Again, don't fall for it. You got people like this that have no idea what they're talking about, and it's your job to be able to recognize that and not fall for this stuff, because it's just such a ludicrous expectation. If anybody can make 2% a day, all right, like, let's do the math here really quick. 2%, her little 2% daily is going to be 2% daily is going to for 100 for, I think the number she gave us for 260 days. All right, I'll do the math for you right now. 2% daily for 260 days is going to be 520%, and that's not even including compounding, right? After 50 days, you would make another 100%, right? So after 50 days, you'd make another 100, and we could add that up. So plus 50 is another 100, plus 50, so basically, you're going to make about like 1,100% in a year. 1,100%. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous of an expectation. The fact that she's out there being serious, telling people, hey, guys, if you just make 2% a day, you know, you could make all this money. Of course you can. 2% daily? Like, bro, listen, the best traders in the world make 20% in a year. 20% in a year. Right? The best traders ever, right? The best traders ever. I'm not saying you can't get really lucky and make 500 or whatever percent in 1 year. I'm not saying you can't do that. Anybody can gamble really heavily and shoot for the fences and lose most of the time and destroy their account most of the time, but then sometimes hit it in options or whatever and make big percentages. Anybody can do that. But doing that consistently day in and day out is an absolutely ridiculous expectation, and it's something that traders need to learn when to like, they need to learn that this is complete BS. You know, I think greed clouds people's judgment sometimes, and they fall for this. And again, luckily, like, I posted this on some other platforms, and it got a lot of views pretty quickly. So we got a decent amount of views pretty fast. And so at least people are hearing it, because people need to hear that. It's so crazy. I even tagged the person into it that said it. again, I think you got these people who enter these markets, and like what happens is they want to start a business. They understand, like, hey, like this person probably understands, like, hey, I'm pretty. I could get a bunch of dudes simping after me, giving me donations, who are probably going to give us the most? Ooh, the financial markets. So let's learn that. And I can talk them into doing a bunch of dumb stuff. That's probably the mindset this person has, realistically. That's probably the mindset they have, unfortunately. And so, yeah, that's probably a mindset that she has. And again, it's just unfortunate because it's predatory, is really what it is. Like, bro, 2% in a 2% every day for a year straight is, for anybody that actually understands the market, is so crazy of an expectation. The even crazier part, guys, the even crazier part is that I said this yesterday, and I had multiple people in my room defending the person, saying it was a reasonable expectation, saying that they've done it, and it's just kind of like, bro, if anybody believes this, I got some timeshares that I got to sell you. Okay. I've got the greatest, knife set in the world right now, guys. If you actually believe this, it's crazy. What I meant the knife set for is a reference to Cutco. Like, you got door-to-door salesmen. Point is, let me sell you some stuff, guys, if y'all believe this, because y'all are certainly sellable if you do. Again, greed clouds people's judgment. People want to believe it, so they do, unfortunately, and it is what it is, but be smart. Powell is speaking with Bernanke Friday. So that's what's going on Friday. So Powell is speaking with Bernanke Friday is what's going on. What would the overall market have to grow to support 2% a day unless you think you're going to beat the market daily? I mean, that's what she's saying. Yeah, Adam, we try to be real, bro. We try to be real, man. Yeah, good. So you talking about my video or the person saying it, Pawn? At this point, I think everybody's just kind of making fun of her, which she deserves. Yo, those knives are dope, though, eh? Greatest knives ever. But yeah, guys, just don't fall for it. Just be smart, team. That's the best advice I can give you. Just be smart. Like, don't fall for this crap. Like, again, people, you got some people that would believe whatever you tell them, right? And so they're going to eat this up, and they're going to pretend, and they're going to say, "Oh, pretty girl, like, let me believe it. Maybe she'll like me if I go to the comment section and I say nice things to her," or whatever it is, right? They're just going to get wrapped up in that nonsense. Be smart. Don't be gullible. Don't be dumb. All right? Because really, if you're believing this, I'm not saying you're dumb. I think you're probably just naive. But like, if you know about the financial markets and you still believe that, I question y'all's intelligence. I really do. 2% daily is one of the most ridiculous expectations. Somebody said, how much would the market have to grow to justify 2% daily? Well, it would have to grow at least 2%. So the S&P 500 to justify 2% daily would have to go. How many trading days are there in a year? So say we have 8. We're just going to do some simple math. And I know this number is off by a little bit because I know there's technically like 4.3 weeks in a month. And so this number might be a little bit under the actual amount of trading days there really are. So we'll try to, I don't know how many, let me see. All right, so in a given year, there's 260 weekdays. Okay, so that was her number, 260. So the market to grow 2% daily would have to grow 520% every year for you to get that. Crazy. Just crazy, Like, hopefully people are never letting her hear the end of this in the comment section, because that is just, what a crazy expectation, man. The fact that this person gets the amount of views that this person gets, dude, is honestly crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at this. This person is like a big person. So let's see. When was the first time this person posted a video? Okay, so this person has been around. I'm continuing to scroll back. I want to see how long this person's been around. They are surprisingly well known. Okay, so this person's been around for at least a year in the financial markets. And she's out here telling people to make 2% a day, every day, for 260 days in a row. Basically, this person made the reasonable expectation of making 2% every weekday for a year straight. Not if you short. Oh, yeah, I mean, man, yeah, I'll move on. But again, the only reason I want to stay on this topic is because I got some people actually arguing for it. You know. I'm gonna say this last thing, guys. And no, absolutely, David. I've already said the compound interest part would make it even worse, right? Compounding would make it over 1,100%, and so it'd be even more of a ridiculous expectation. But yeah, again, we got a couple people telling me to leave it alone, and I will. But I'm gonna say this one last thing, okay? This one last thing, and I hope you guys listen to me, because again, understand my impulse is to protect people at home, and y'all have to listen here. It doesn't matter how much leverage you're using. It doesn't matter what you're trading. It doesn't matter what direction you're going in the financial markets. You might be able to gamble and make, on average, 2% a day. Like, you can make 520% a year, right? But you're not going to ever be able to do that consistently. In order to make that much, you're going to have to risk your entire account, just to get those gains. And it's just not a reasonable expectation. Like, nobody's going to be able to do it. And so if you hear somebody claiming to, you need to run fast the other way, because you are getting sold. All right. That's the last thing I'll say. Right. Exactly, bro. Science. Make 4% a day. Hey, reasonable, Yeah, I bet as well, David. Yeah, so I think the truth hurts, Chris, is what it is. I think people that get sold on it, like, I think the truth hurts, man. And it's all good. Again, a lot of the other rumor is that Elon Musk is stepping down as CEO of Tesla today on CNBC at 6 p.m. I don't believe that. I think if he does, Tesla's going to tank. And again, I'm not even saying I want him to stay. It doesn't matter to me either way. I could enjoy some volatility in the markets, but I think I heard a lot of people saying that Elon was going to step down as CEO. I think the more likely outcome, though, and it was just a rumor, I think the more likely outcome is that he's going to step down as Twitter CEO and name the person that he already said. And that's probably what the interview is in reference to. I can't imagine that he's going to step down to both. He's going to announce his departure from both companies within the same week. But I mean, anything could essentially happen. Yeah, I mean, I think crypto arbitrage is a little bit different, Connor. I'm not even saying that that's not something that you can do. I think those markets are becoming more and more efficient each day, though. You know, somebody else brought up efficient markets when we brought up Forex. I think that's an important thing for people to understand what that means. You're going to hear that word thrown around a lot in trading. What efficient markets mean is that an efficient market is a sideways market, is a choppy market, right? So when you hear somebody say, hey, that market's efficient, what they're really saying is that market is choppy. What efficient means, if you really think about it, it means there's an equal number of buyers and sellers. And so what happens when that happens is you get sideways chop, you get choppiness, you get sideways action. So basically the person saying earlier the Forex market was too efficient to trade. Basically, like, it's too even. Like there's no volatility is essentially what somebody is saying. If they say a market's too efficient, they're saying there's no volatility. You know, basically they have balanced buyers and sellers so much to a point where it's safe. To where it's sideways is what's going on, you know. Okay, got you. You're a good person, John, trying to enlighten folks, but some unfortunately can't take it. Yeah, I mean, I think some people, again, I think greed clouds people's judgment. I think they really want to believe it's true, and so they do, you know. But all right, guys. SPY is pretty flat though. SPY is just under the previous close. You got a Bloomberg terminal? No. Yeah, but the simplified way of saying the efficient market hypothesis is exactly what I said, which is balanced. It's a balanced market. Yeah, I don't know about them hiring a new CEO. We'll see, man. All right, let me send this out. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, guys. So yeah, look at gold. Gold, break it down. Ryan Cohen, the new Tesla CEO. Didn't he say something yesterday? What did Cohen say yesterday? I saw something about him saying. Oh, show mom love. There's nothing more special than a GameStop gift card for Mother's Day. He's got to be trolling, bro. Again, if I gave my mom a GameStop gift card, she wouldn't know what to do with it. All right, guys. So, any other big news of the market today that I'm missing here? I don't see anything yet. Again, we got core retail sales data coming out today. Big release, important release. You know, core retail sales data. It's a Bard. So Google's Bard just dropped some new features. So you can now use it for a bunch of other stuff. That's cool. All right, guys. See if I'm trying to see which one's more important here: retail sales or core retail sales. I think it might be core. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be core. I don't know what looks like a good buy today. Anybody? Will a dollar tankle news? I don't know. Core retail sales are expected. We'll put this number up on screen. Home Depot dropped their numbers already. So again, retail sales expected to show up at, we'll put this up on screen. Core retail sales, month over month, are expected to come in at, core retail sales expected to come in at 0.4%. Retail sales month over month are expected at 0.8%. Then it drops at 8:30. Again, we get a lot of people tuning into these because we cover it quickly here, guys. If you haven't already, put this up. There's core retail sales. All right, so we got this up. Again, Disney dipping a little bit down to about 92.50s. We're in it. We bought the dip though, so we actually got a pretty good entry. I'm also at PayPal. That one's not really doing much, but I still like my entry. Slightly green on the day. Hey, what's up, Ben? What's up, man?
How's it going? Good morning.
Good morning, man. Good morning. Yeah, man, retail sales data today. Retail sales is like a bigger release. It's not a crazy big release, but it will have some people watching it at least, you know.
So what do you think? Retail sales going to be up or down, or
no idea.
Looked into it?
Yeah, well, I never know, so I always usually stray away from making too many predictions ahead of time, just because these are numbers that I really don't know. I noticed like gas prices are really cheap, but retail sales numbers, like, to put it in perspective for everybody at home, Retail sales gauge the change in the aggregate value of sales at the retail level across the country. So it's a big indicator of consumer spending, which obviously is a huge part of economic activity. So it'll be relevant for inflation for sure, and overall spending. I'm trying to figure out which is the more important one, core or regular. Core is excluding automobile spending. So core is excluding automobiles. So basically sales excluding automobiles. I would assume that that's irrelevant. I would assume that automobile transactions are still pretty relevant because, you know, if you guys have been watching prices over the last few years, one of the biggest bubbles, I think, and I don't know if it's still there. I haven't looked at car prices recently, but car prices were obscenely high. They were ridiculously expensive. People were selling 1993 Toyota Tacomas for like $50K, you know, like it was crazy for a while. I don't know if it's still there though, you know.
Well, I don't know if they look at volume. They probably just look at overall retail sales. It would seem, since everything's more expensive now, that it'd keep going up if they're just looking at overall volume.
Yeah, so let me look this up. So it says, to read this here, retail sales is an important indicator that signals either the contraction or expansion of an economy. An increase in retail sales, and this is all from Investopedia, an increase in those sales signals a healthy economy that is expanding. So this is similar to like GDP data, I would think. So an increase signals health in the economy, decrease signals the opposite. But the real question is, does the market want higher retail sales right now? Like the whole point of the Fed raising rates is to discourage spending in this way. And so that's the real question: is does the Fed or does the market want higher or lower retail sales, and how will that influence things? So the national average new car prices are $4,000 over MSRP. Yeah, I know they were high for a while.
So that's month over month. The core retail sales is supposed to come in at 0.4%. That would equal the inflation number. 0.4% was month over month. I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it might be all. Yeah, I'm sure it's all kind of related, especially with this affecting inflation for sure. And then looking at it, so retail sales is a leading indicator as well. It tracks the amount of spending in an economy. So kind of like GDP is what it sounds like to me. So this is kind of like another version of GDP data. It's a different version, of course. It's not exactly the same thing. This is retail sales where GDP is all spending. But it's similar to that, I guess. And so I think like lately, over the past year, higher has equaled a negative response. So higher data comes in, the market has reacted negatively. Lower data has come in, the market has reacted positively. Up until maybe the last month. You know, the last month things kind of switched to where I guess my guess is the bank fears have caused the market to not want less economic growth. And so I think that's what happened is like, you know, we've the bank failures have sparked recession fears. And so now people want economic growth because that signals less recession fears. While prices are still pretty high, gas prices have gone down though. Gas prices were under $3 a gallon. We got gas yesterday, so gas prices have settled down a little bit. But overall pricing is still up, you know, relative to normal or convention.
I'm going to try to log in and see what some of these experts that I pay for say about retail.
Yeah. NTM building materials are still stupid high. One sheet of plywood cost me over 50. Yeah, I know. I've seen increases in like the contract work that we've had at our house. So like we're getting our AC fixed now. We got a new hot water heater too. We got one of those tankless ones. So honestly, it took like every time we'd start the shower in our master bedroom, it would take like 5 minutes to heat up the water. So it would just take so long. We hated it. So now we got one of the tankless ones. So now the whole house can take a shower at the same time and we're still okay, you know? But anyways, contractors are up a lot. We've seen our landscape people charge more over the last year. They've all charged more, and I think it's just
man. I'm getting a new fence at a rental property because it fell down. I'm getting quotes saying, "Are you serious? That's how much you want for just that much of a fence? You know, just like one side. Is that right?"
Yeah,
Everything's
dude,
more expensive.
Sure, wood especially, like Chris said here, like wood is more expensive, and so I'm sure it's affecting everybody's margins. You know, the last few years have affected everybody's margins, I think, and it's unfortunate. Hopefully, it settles down some, but. Those tankless drink electricity. Hope you got a good one. Bro, my electricity bill. We moved into this house and my electricity bill, I wasn't ready for the electricity bill here, man. For a while, I think we had problems. Like for a little while, my electricity bill was like 900, you know? But it lowered a little bit, so it settled down some. But so the tankless heater is going to increase my electricity bill. I didn't even know. Carol got it. She chose to get it, and that, you know, it's all good. I'm happy with it. Even if I have to pay more, it's okay. The pool, man, I wasn't ready for the water bill here. The last house we had, we didn't have a pool. And so, man, when we first moved here, I thought there was a leak, but my neighbor just paid $20K for her fence on one side. It's 10 feet. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting quotes that high.
Yeah, man. 20K, don't do it, bro. That's a bad number, dude. It better be like a really nice fence.
New yard.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Is the tankless gas or electric? I think it's electric, but I'm not 100% sure. That's crazy. My electric bill is $70. I envy you, sir.
This economic service that I have, they don't even give predictions for retail sales. I guess it's a smaller number compared to, you know, the inflation
CPI.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not. So covering all of them. So this isn't a huge release. Like usually I would put retail sales a little bit under jobless claims, you know? So like my ranking of the economic data goes CPI, Fed rate hike decision. Those are pretty even. You know, I would say lately the rate hike decision's gotten a little bit more hype than CPI, but CPI rate hike decision, underneath that, I would probably go with PPI underneath that. And then I would go with like Apple, Amazon earnings, and then maybe big earnings are underneath that. And then under all that, I would put unemployment, GDP data, PCE, and then under that I would put jobless claims, and then under that I would put retail sales. So it's certainly not a huge one in terms of like interest, but it's still more interest than typical, you know.
Yeah, my industry and the real estate and mortgage industry, kind of similar ranking, but you got to throw the existing home sales and builder sentiment and all that up there towards the top. Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, and I think that stuff drops today. No, not today. So that stuff drops tomorrow. So tomorrow we have... Oh, I forgot. Today we also had European GDP data. Let's see what that showed up. I think that's usually relevant for the market as well. So, or maybe, I don't know. Mine's not showing up. So today's the 17th. Or no, today's the 16th. Okay, that's why. So GDP data for Europe showed up as expected at 1.3% on the year and 0.1% on the month. So as expected for European GDP data. Today we've got Lagarde speaking at 10. I'll have to see what she's speaking about. Sometimes I'll cover those too, but so yeah, tomorrow we have the NBA 30-year mortgage rate. Last time it came in at 6.48%. So we'll see what it shows up tomorrow. That drops weekly though, so that drops every Wednesday. Tomorrow we have
that drops minutely for me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you get the updated version. Yeah. But no, tomorrow we have building permits and housing starts. So building permit data, if you don't know what building permit is, building permit measures the change in the number of new building permits issued by the government. It projects housing starts, like future housing starts. But yeah, so that is expected to show up tomorrow at 1.437 million. Last time it showed up at 1.43 million. So,
We're still so far behind on inventory. Like inventory meaning the amount of homes for sale. I mean, I can't believe that it's not just skyrocketing with builders jumping into the market. But I guess it is difficult to get those permits, and it is more expensive to build now.
Oh,
but
for sure, with the lumber.
I can't believe there's just not way more homes being built right now.
Yeah. I think it has to do with prices for lumber. Margin affects their decisions there, I think, and that's it's unfortunate for.
And the cost to borrow the funds to build the house.
The crazy thing is, like, mortgages, people are acting like, I think you and I talked about it before. People are acting like 6% is just the highest ever, and it's really like when you look back objectively at it, it's really not super high relative to like the early 80s. 6%'s right around normal. I think that's probably right around average.
Yeah, sorry, but 6% is supposed to be where rates are at in a good, normal, humming along economy. I wouldn't necessarily categorize this as a great economy. It's a weird economy, and it's just coincidence that the rates happen to be near 6, but that's where they're supposed to be. And a lot of people don't realize that. But I was talking more about the reason why more homes aren't being built is, people are still going to go get the homes regardless of rates. I was talking about the cost that builders have to pay to borrow on their lines of credit to build the house. That increases into their margins a lot,
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people don't realize how much they have to pay over the life of those as well. So they're, I think it's affecting everybody for sure. But yeah, and then we also have, so housing starts tomorrow, and then we have existing home sales Thursday. So those are expected to show up at 4.3 million. Last time was 4.4 million. So they're projecting a slight decrease month over month for existing home sales. And then for April, it's expected to come in, the percentage is 0.1%. Last time was minus 2.4%. So.
Yeah, and AJ, the 6%, that is a good rate. It's the price of housing that's way off. That's true. And that's because of the lack of inventory, again, because nobody wants to sell their house because they're down at that 3 or 4% rate that they were at, 5 years ago. And they don't want to get out of that rate and get into a new house at 6. So nobody's putting their houses on the market, which is another reason why I don't see why builders aren't just jumping into this market right now. And they're just not. When existing home sales are down so much, you'd think that the new permits would be up.
Right. Like there's a window of opportunity there where, if there's not a lot of used homes for sale, they could fill that hole with new home sales, but yeah, I guess it's their margins.
Yeah, it's the lack of supply and more demand. Even though demand is way down, there's just supply is way down, and that's what's causing the prices to still go up.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, I could talk about houses all day. So.
Oh no, honestly, it's all relevant, man. It's all pretty good for the stream. It's all relevant for sure. Better than earlier. I was talking about the TikTok I sent you, and people were getting mad at me for it. But
why were they getting mad at you?
I probably stayed on the topic a little bit too long, But
I got you.
Yeah, but no, it was funny.
Speaking of TikTok, I was thinking this morning, because I've streamed like late at night with people in other countries. I've never streamed this morning or this early in the morning. So I was thinking I was going to be like one of those TikTok like reaction videos where you see both videos and then one person's just sitting there making faces while they're watching the video. I thought my little box up there was just going to be me making faces and not talking, but I'm awake already, I guess.
Yeah, I'm up. Honestly, my sleep schedule is kind of out there. So like I'll get up early and I'll start the stream at like 5:15 our time. So which is 6:15 at home for market time, guys. But yeah, I'll start the stream and I'll stream for like 4 hours. And then I'll usually take like a couple hours at least to kind of like decompress. And then I told you yesterday, it's all based off of my coffee intake. Like I'm sure if I drank another coffee right when the stream ended, honestly, I thought about giving up coffee. They said it would be a more stable, but I don't think I can do it.
I like Mio, the energy drink.
Yeah, the one that you squirt, you squirt into. Yeah, those are good. I like those. We have those. Problem is, Jack, one time we we had one in the pantry that was the caffeine one. And Jack didn't realize it. And so Jack was staying up and it was like 11 o'clock at night. And Jack was just drinking, he drank one of them and then we recognized it. And Jack's sitting there like running around the house. And we were like, Jack, no. And then we had to put it on top of the fridge. And now we can't touch it. But
does everybody know that's your son?
Yeah,
Jack,
they know. Yeah.
He's not supposed to have any of that.
No. Yeah, definitely. We don't. Honestly, I can remember drinking Cokes a lot when I was young, but Jack, they haven't drank. One thing I was happy about is that Jack didn't know what a Sprite was when he was like 7, and so that's good, Hopefully get him off this soda. I was drinking those stevia colas for a while, but I think those make my face get red. Like I have a weird reaction to the stevia ones, which is like the plant. It's like stevia, the plant. So, when is Baidu reporting? What is Baidu? Abby, isn't that like a overseas social media platform? I gotta look this up now. Oh, so this is like Facebook in China, basically. I'm not sure. Depends on what the symbol is. Okay, so it's BIDU. So this is Baidu.
So while you're looking that up, I put your stream on while I was eating breakfast this morning.
Oh,
I was
cool.
eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and YouTube decided right when I put it on to play a commercial for like constipation. Some
Honestly,
talking about fiber and everything, showing pictures of the bowel tracts and everything. I'm like, why? I'm eating right now.
Yeah, they're saying, "Are you eating peanut butter for breakfast?" Watch this ad. Yeah, the funny ones is that when I'll like critique gurus about the stock market, and then they'll put a guru plug like right at the beginning of the stream. People will say, "Hey, man, this person they did a plug." So I think you can pick who shows up, but yeah. The chat doesn't understand. I really could pepper this stream with way more ads. Like YouTube gives me the option. I could hit everybody at home with an ad right now. I wouldn't because I would assume
you should just do it. You should just do it.
No, dude. The bounce rate. Yeah, the bounce. I probably would, but the bounce rate would be so high. It would be, it wouldn't be worth it, I think. But yeah. But that TikTok got some views though. We got hundreds of views within 12 hours. So
nice.
I'm kind of learning how to use it. Overseas Google AI. See, I was trying to. Chris said it's so hard to find a good. Like I'm looking for caffeine as an adult. Like I need Coca-Cola. It's too bad. There's too much sugar. Diet Coke's not really the best for you. Stevia Cola apparently isn't good for you. And it's so hard to find a healthy caffeinated soda that has caffeine but has something else healthy in it. It's so hard. That might be a hole in the market. Maybe I should start a business. But yeah, I have YouTube Premium. Grape.
I do not.
Yeah.
I should probably get that.
Yeah, I was watching Carol. Carol doesn't have it. I was watching her phone the other day, and she just got so many ads. I told her, I was like, hey, I have YouTube Premium. She might actually be able to use it, but I'm really careful about where I log into my YouTube since it's kind of a business now, Yeah, it's definitely worth it, Chris. I don't know if anything with caffeine is good for you. Oh, good is relative, I guess. Yeah, Celsius. We've had Celsiuses. They're not bad. There's nothing healthy in sodas. Well, I mean, it could be. What's up, Shepard?
I talked to your friend the other day that might be a guest on the channel every once in a while, Lewis.
Lewis, yeah. So did he contact you? Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yes, seems like a good guy. Very well spoken too.
Oh, definitely. He's great. He's great with like editing and stuff. He's got some good stuff out there. Like the broker I'm with, he's got some good content there. Probably higher quality content than I produce, really. So he's pretty solid. What about a good old fashioned cup of coffee? The problem with coffee is that it's too strong for me. And so it's too strong and it's too acidic at a certain point. So I'm the type of person, I'll drink coffee in the morning when I really need to wake up. But then if I drink caffeine later, it's not coffee. It's like usually tea or something. So the rumor been is that Elon was going to step down as Tesla CEO and announce it on CNBC this afternoon. I don't know if I believe it. I think he's probably just stepping down from Twitter because I know he did appoint a new CEO there and announced that. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine that either. But at the same time, he's spent 10 or 15 or 20 like really hardcore years with Tesla, and he's got it running and up and running the way he wants. And he might want to be able to focus on some other things right now. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
but at the same time, I saw his news was, I don't know how the Virgin Islands is doing financially, and what I'm about to say, like,
be careful saying controversial stuff because it will get demonetized. So if it's too controversial, just say the island over there. Don't say whose island it was.
Oh, okay, but yeah. So like he's being subpoenaed for all that Chase and Epstein stuff, and I'm not.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm just thinking like how would that be relevant?
Yeah, if they got dirt on them.
Yeah, no, like they probably do. I don't know.
They could. But I don't think he's going to step down. I think Tesla would tank if he stepped down. I think if he stepped down, Tesla would crash. I think. So a discontinued Rolex just sold at auction for $2.5 million. So the winning buyer apparently was Rolex. Huh.
They bought their own watch.
Yeah, the discontinued.
That's kind of like NFTs.
Sure.
NFTs on people they'll release an NFT and then they'll start buying their own NFTs from their own two wallets just to up the prices.
Sure. Scarcity, man. Yeah. Scarcity is huge. It's honestly what Popeyes did with the chicken sandwich. It's what PlayStation did really well. Like what PlayStation did is when the PlayStation 5 came out, okay, they have the capability of putting it out there where everybody that wants a PlayStation 5 can get one. Like they have the capability to do that to where they're not going to have any shortages on PlayStation 5s, but they never do that, right? They don't do that. They put out a limited number of PlayStation 5s in the beginning. And what happens is that because it's so scarce, the hype for it grows way larger than it would if they just kind of let everybody buy a PS5. And so after a couple months of that, after like half a year, 6 months of that, people are so hyped up about the PS5. It's like this mythical, majestic thing that nobody can find. That's what happens. Same thing happened with the Popeyes chicken sandwich, where they made the thing, oh, we only have a limited amount and everybody can't get one. Bro, if you see the drive-through lines were around the block because everybody was so hell-bent on getting that chicken sandwich afterwards. And so scarcity, man, artificial scarcity most of the time is what it is. Like they have the infrastructure and the capability to produce enough PS5s to make everybody happy, but they don't really. And you can't even get mad at PlayStation because this was actually started by Nintendo. Nintendo did this with the Switch like 5 years ago.
I've got some intel, like they have some intel that a new Switch is about to be released too. Just
really?
A side note, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No, all good. Yeah, Jack's a big Nintendo guy. Yeah, and so, but yeah, that's great news. But yeah, they know they could produce it. They know they could produce enough. But
I know what you're saying. They keep it scarce.
That's right. No, sorry,
like
Pawn
Elmo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. No, so Pawn just sent me a message. He said Rolex slogan is the Rolex way. You could say this applies to the way the company is run. When you think about giant luxury corporations like Rolex, nonprofit is certainly not the first thing to come to mind. But the fact of the matter is, Rolex is in fact a nonprofit organization. What?
I don't understand that.
No, man, they're obviously for profit.
They make some profit.
Yeah.
Where's all that profit go?
How? It's owned by a nonprofit organization. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So Rolex technically is a for-profit company. It's just owned by a nonprofit. So it's a Swiss government charitable trust that owns Rolex. Okay, got you. I never knew that. That's interesting. So they are in fact owned by a nonprofit company. That might be like a loophole where it's like they're nonprofit, but they own a bunch of for-profit stuff or whatever. But I mean, so Pawn, Chris said, "Are we sure about that?" Pawn sent me the link, and then when I googled the same thing, like is Rolex? Google it yourself. Is Rolex a nonprofit? The same stuff came up. So the all that stuff came up.
There's lots of tax advantages to that. Maybe that's why they do it. They definitely, somebody's making some money somewhere.
Oh, yeah, for
Nonprofit
sure.
doesn't necessarily mean like charity.
Sure,
you know?
sure, yeah. Yeah, one of the crazy things, like, so Goodwill, man, Goodwill. I used to do some like book arbitrage when I was much younger, in my like early 20s. I would go and I would buy books, and honestly, it used to be very profitable to where I would make like 5K a month doing it, and basically I'd have a Bluetooth barcode scanner, and I would go to like Goodwill and thrift shops, and this was like over a decade ago, where nobody else was doing it at the time. And I would go and I would scan books, and Goodwill would sell the books for like 50 cents, and I would scan books, and if it was worth over $20, I would buy the book for 50 cents and then list it on Amazon for $20. And it worked great. I found a bunch of really rare books. Like I remember I found like a Star Wars book. I think it was like a Star Wars role-playing book. And I found it. I bought it for like $1 each, and they were worth like $500. So I found some like good books there. The problem is that eventually, and so I did this in my early 20s, and just to kind of supplement my income. And the problem is that eventually everybody started doing it. Everybody started doing it. By the 2010s, it had already come out with like, there's all these different social medias pumping this, and so it just became saturated to where I'd go to the store. Anyways, I got completely off topic.
I still think that's cool. I love that type of stuff though.
Yeah, man.
That's still cool. Fun. But I'm always a little miffed. I use thrift books to buy a lot of books.
Nice.
They're just expensive. I'm always a little miffed whenever I like buy one for $5 and I see a tag on it in the store for 99 cents. I'm like, oh, right. I could have, they were going to sell that to 99 cents to somebody else. So.
Right. Honestly, and I'm still, I still kind of like miss it. I tell Carol this all the time. I miss doing it. It was really like, I don't know if it pandered to just like human instinct to where, I miss going there because I guess it was like a reward thing. It was like, it messed with like the reward system in your head. You go there, I had like a Bluetooth barcode scanner, and it would like jingle every time a book was over $20, so I remember sitting there and it would jingle, and I can remember that like it was a pleasant feeling. Like you scan the books, and then when you hear that jingle, you're like, okay, well, this book is valuable. And so I still miss doing it. I would never do it. It was so hard to do. Looking back on it, it was just a lot of work, but it made good money. But at this point in time, I'm sure there's some people at home that are like, hey, I'm going to go do this. Don't even try.
Well, no, I love that type of stuff. If anybody has any stories about flipping stuff, just write it in chat.
Yeah.
Of course I flipped, baseball cards and things like that, but books
Pokemon
I never
cards.
did.
Yeah, books was fun. At this point in time, though, if you go to Goodwill, you're going to see like 20 other people that are trying to do this. It's so saturated right now. You're going to have to, it's just not, the margins are going to be way worse. I'm assuming,
Oh yeah. Pawn trades is all about that.
Yeah.
Pawn trades.
Yeah. No, that's my mod.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. That's the mod here.
I flipped stuff like yard equipment and stuff like that to pawn shops before. Stuff that was getting thrown away when I was in like high school. I'd do that.
Gary V's a big believer in it now,
Now I flip houses.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's where you level up and start doing that, but anyways, the point I was trying to make, I think I got off topic, but Goodwill makes millions of dollars every year, and like people buy from Goodwill and they think that it goes straight to charity. Like they think that the money they spend in Goodwill goes to charity. It doesn't. Now Goodwill, the reason they call it Goodwill is because they hire all these different types of people. So that's the goodwill of it, is that they're giving people jobs, but for a long time I thought money at Goodwill went to charities, but it doesn't, and I think Goodwill's still a nonprofit. I think actually what Goodwill is not a nonprofit. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Goodwill is for profit. Let me make sure. Okay, no, I guess it is a nonprofit. Okay, so it's a 501c, not-for-profit organization. But the CEO of Goodwill made $500,000 last year. So, he's doing pretty well for a nonprofit company.
There's no profit there. There's no profit in that place.
Yeah. $500,000.
That's not that much for a CEO these days. But,
no.
But when it's Goodwill, that just doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so we bought Disney here. I'm going to see if Disney bounces. We bought it. The low 90s is like my favorite buy zone for Disney. That's where I try to buy everything up at the low 90s. And so we'll see if we get a bounce there. That's what I'm hoping. We've established a position now. It's not a crazy huge position, but at this point in time, I can just let it work. Disney is one of those trades where I'll hold it long term if I need to. I think the big pullback here gives us a buy opportunity. But again, don't copy me, everybody at home. I have no idea what's going to happen here, so y'all be careful. Disney could just crash. I also bought PayPal as well. I think PayPal, while I'm skeptical of PayPal long term, I think PayPal has gotten beat up short term, and so maybe there's a dip buying opportunity. My only skepticism with PayPal long term is because I think crypto eventually, and it's already becoming efficient enough to where it's going to replace the need for PayPal. I think if crypto transactions become efficient enough, you don't need PayPal anymore. In fact, it's actually much easier to send crypto back and forth anywhere.
So I can tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for the Treasury to be down this morning, and I'm hoping for retail sales to be slow. That has I have no clue what it's going to do.
Sure.
That would send mortgage rates down a little bit, and I have 2 clients that would really help. So that's all. Yeah. I'm hoping for those 2 things, but it's nothing to do with what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, no worries. I get it. So I'm sure some clients are kind of sitting back waiting for interest rates to drop a little bit, even though we're not like conventionally high. I think everybody's just used to the last few years of like really, really low interest rates of like 2.5%. The last like decade, I guess, of like 2.5% or 2.5%, 3.5%. 2.5% might be a little low, but I'm sure everybody's used to low interest rates now. I used to gut electronics and sell precious metals. Hey, good luck, Nando. I really did enjoy doing it. I still miss it. I mean, I would never do it anymore because, frankly, my time is better spent elsewhere doing other things. But I really do kind of miss what it like. Again, it must have like the reward system.
Yeah. We should teach our sons to do that stuff when they're old enough.
The problem is that Goodwill sometimes not in like a great area. So I don't know if I want Jag going up to,
It's not that bad though.
No, there's some good ones. It depends on where you go. I used to go everywhere though, so I'd make a full loop around Houston. Carol Carol hated it. This is when I first got with Carol. So Carol hated it. I remember I would drive all the way around Houston, and she would just hate it. Fishing equipment is great. Yeah, fishing equipment is, it's one of those niche sports that a lot of people really get interested in, and there's some value for sure. So Gary V, everybody's upset that workers aren't working and that they're demanding higher wages and all this stuff in the modern age. And Gary V said it like it is. And I actually agree with him here, where he's like, look, if you're a young person, are you going to go work at a corporate job making less than you would if you just kind of went to yard sales and flipped stuff full time? He's like, if you
but is that really going to happen? Like, I mean, are you really going to make that much money? And do you need benefits?
Sure.
You probably are going to go work. I mean, Gary V, I don't know, man. Like, he's so smart, but
sure.
Anyway,
I think he's gotten addicted to it.
Yeah, it's fun though, but maybe he has the time. I mean, come on. Don't tell young kids out of college or whatever, out of high school to go flip stuff. Get a job and get started,
Sure. Right. For sure. 100%. The ceiling is going to be so much higher if you get a job and work. Like, the whole point is, like, when you're young, you're supposed to be learning how to work. You're learning how to work with somebody. You're learning how to work a corporate job. You're learning how to move around the politics of it in that way, And so I think if you just kind of go straight the flipping route, you're going to miss out on that. And the ceiling is going to be much lower for yourself if you do what Gary Vee is basically saying. And I like Gary Vee. I think he's right in a lot of ways. But I think like you said, I think the benefit aspect of it is what's gonna. That would be my decision maker, where it's like you don't get any benefits, you don't have insurance. Insurance is expensive too, so
Remember those eBay stores in the mall? Like, people would set up an eBay store so you could bring old stuff to them, and they would sell it on eBay for you and charge you like 30%.
Sure, like the 42-year-old virgin.
Oh, was that on there?
Yeah, sorry.
Those were a good idea, but they didn't last long.
Yeah. In the 40-year-old virgin, he goes to one, and that's where he like meets his love interest. She's got a "I'll sell your stuff on eBay" store, I think is what it's called. But yeah, certain businesses like that just turn obsolete, especially with technology growth, and evolution. That's the risk, is that it just becomes obsolete. Why not do both? It's gonna be hard to work
both.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I mean,
do your full-time job and then do that as
sure.
a hobby, but you got to get started. Don't delay your career because you're
Right.
gonna go flip stuff.
Right.
I don't know, but you were about to have a good point about Gary Vee saying that you can actually make a living doing that these days.
Sure.
But, you know me, I like to disagree with everything. So.
No, all good. I think disagreement's healthy. But yeah, I think what he said was that if you devote full time, I think he's probably right. I think if you devoted all your time to it, to where all you did every day, all day, was you went to thrift stores and you went to garage sales and you turned into a thrifter, I think you probably could make 100,000. The problem in it is that you got to take into account gas fees. You got to take into account margins as a whole. That's what I remember running the book business, is that like what affected it the most was gas and just supplies. A very common thing that I see on the internet a lot of the time is that like people trying to sell stuff, they don't use their net profit. They'll say, oh, well, we did 100K in sales. It's like, oh, well, 100K in sales is great, but how much profit is that? What, like 10K a year? That's not enough to live off of. But they'll use it as some type of like marketing thing where it's like, yeah, we did 100K in sales. It's like, okay, great. But what are your margins actually? Like, I think that's the problem with thrifting, is that the margins would be, I think once you take into account like gas and fees and stuff like that, it just wouldn't be that good. And insurance, like no insurance. I think that's the problem.
Michael,
did you make 2% yesterday?
That's the comment of the day so far. Did you make your 2% yesterday? Did you compound it too?
Working on it, man. Yeah, working on it. Yeah, if you add compounding, I think you're gonna make like 1,100% or something crazy.
That's a good one. That's funny.
Yeah. Minimum wage should be adjusted for inflation and productivity. And 76, both my wife and myself saved on minimum wage, worked overtime. Price was $45K for our first home. Try that on minimum wage now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree. I think gold is kind of long term. You got to hedge yourself with gold or with the S&P or whatever, But yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't want to get too political.
Back to this wage stuff.
Sure.
It's a little different when you own your own business, or when it's a little different when you're in the corporate like business world, because you can just go get another job and all that. People I feel for are the teachers, firemen, police officers, everybody, a lot of the people that work for the government, the postmen. I mean, they're getting like 1% a year raises or 2% a year raises, and inflation for a couple of years was 10%. So they're basically, I mean, I know they have great benefits, but they still need to pay for their stuff. So they're basically getting, demotions or whatever you call it. They're making less compared to the dollar every year. And they don't really have that much say as to how much they can make. And they can't just go switch careers, but that's something needs to be done about that. But, how that's done, I don't know. Raise my taxes. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. It's a tough spot, but yeah, to put it into perspective, guys, like doing like only 1% a year. If you make 50K, that's going to be $500 raise a year. Yeah, you can wear that watch if you want to, buddy. All right, love you, buddy. Have a good day, man. But yeah, that's a $500 raise a year. That's nothing, So y'all, and again, I think one of the benefits is like a competitive marketplace, But yeah, it's a tough thing for sure. Yeah, my mom was a teacher, so my mom's a retired teacher. Tough job. I would never, be a teacher.
I want to be a professor someday, or I used to. No, I don't. But I wanted to teach on the college level. But I don't think I don't even want to do that anymore, though.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna be an educator, I think you have to be a professor. Professors can make six figures. It's still a tough job, but it's less tough because kids mature a little bit by the time they go to college. The age that I would never want to teach is like 13, 14. That would
be the worst.
Yeah,
I want to give up my kids, during that tween or whatever. Yeah. I'm scared about that. I don't have one that old yet. But can I just let somebody else raise them during that age?
Oh yeah, dude. My daughter's 13.
Oh, you have one there, yeah.
It is just a mess, man. And I think I saw something, and it makes perfect sense actually. So I saw this TikTok, and it said that kids are like biologically programmed to not listen to their parents between ages like 13 and 24. Like so whatever you teach your kids between 13 and 20, early 20s, they are going to completely ignore you and sometimes just do the exact opposite. And then once they turn 24, they're gonna snap out of it and recognize that, like, Maddie agrees. Maddie apparently heard me, so she agrees. I agree too. I love you. Have a good day. Jack agrees too. Okay, good, buddy. All right, y'all be safe. Love you guys. All right, but yeah, she knows. But I think the logic of it was that that kids that age are programmed to leave their parents and go to other tribes. Like if you go back to like tribalists, like they're programmed to leave their parents and go to other tribes so that they have a more broad genetic makeup of the tribe that they move to avoid like inbreeding and stuff like that. And then after they're out of their prime, baby making ages, like past 24, then they are more likely to come back and like listen to their parents. And I thought that made perfect sense. I think it makes a lot of sense if you look back at like the logic of it. I don't know how true it was. It's really easy to just kind of say whatever on the internet nowadays, but I think it made sense. I teach
Somebody
high school.
sacrificed, I guess. Pulse chain's really alive now. Like it's been forever. I guess Shorty probably sacrificed a little bit.
Yeah.
To have that go live. Do you know what I'm talking about? Richard Hart's. It's like a whole new blockchain ecosystem from a crypto guy he made, he's already had a couple successful projects, but then people about a year ago had to, or maybe a little bit more, had to just like give him a bunch of crypto, whatever it may be, Ethereum, like anything they could, they just gave it to him. And then the earlier they did that, the more pulse they got. And it just finally went live. And this guy is Shorty, he's not pumping anything because this is a huge, it's ETH killer. It's supposed to be something like that. It's a huge thing. I mean, they're raising billions and billions.
Web3.
Yeah, it's not like a little small crypto pump that he's talking about, but it's, I don't know. It's just like they raised a ton of money and it's been forever. And he finally went live. And that's surprising. So,
interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing Pulse is, so Pulse looks like it went live in 21, but no, that makes sense.
Chain though.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I see.
It's the same thing, but yeah, Pulse chain's a little different.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So did you see that? One of the ironic parts is that the Treasury Secretary Yellen told congressional leaders today that the U.S. government is. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Why? This isn't their same post. Okay, I don't know how. Maybe I shared the wrong post here. Hold on. So I thought I shared the right post. Sorry. We made a post about how the SEC said that that it might take years to really clarify what is a security, and that they might be vague and it might take years for them to actually clarify it. And I made a share of it. And basically what I said was that it's ironic because they're literally charging Coinbase, a centralized exchange, because of their listing of so-called securities, but that they're going to take a year plus to clarify what an actual security is, but they're suing people, in between that. And so it was just kind of a ridiculous thing, but it looks like for whatever reason it posted something else. All right, guys. But yeah, we got 30 minutes here. I'm going to put the timer up for retail sales. We have about 30 minutes until the retail sales data comes out. We have about 32 minutes or so. There we go. All right, guys, 32 minutes before retail sales data.
Yeah, there's not much business news going on today. I'm sitting here on Apple News trying to look for stuff, and there's really just not too much going on.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a slow week. Like usually it moves in waves, I think. So like generally we get we get like a couple really busy weeks, followed by a couple slow weeks, followed by a couple busy weeks, followed by a couple slow weeks. Unless it's earnings season. In the middle of earnings season, it's kind of chaos. We're just constantly busy. But this week is one of the slower weeks. The busiest day this week is going to be not today, actually. So the busiest day this week is going to be Thursday. So Thursday we have so Thursday we have jobless claims, which is like a weekly release, and generally we'll have over 1,000 people there when that drops. But we also have the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. We have existing home sales Thursday as well. So we've got,
and then that conference on Friday or whatever it is, the speaking on Friday, right? That's probably bigger than anything else this week.
Right. Yeah. We usually like Powell speeches get a lot of views. Like our largest stream we've ever done was a Powell speech. So this was back. So I think it was what was it called? It was when Powell went to like I'll have to look it up. Jackson Hole. So Jackson Hole was the largest speech we've ever done, or the largest stream we've ever done. On that speech, we had like 7,000 or 8,000 people live. We got like 40 or 50,000 views.
Nice.
Like
next time he goes there, let's go there live to Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Honestly, man, it's great.
Let's watch it live and stream.
Yeah. Maybe I can get a press pass or something. I probably could, realistically. I saw Benzinga at the gas pump. I was pumping gas yesterday, and I saw Benzinga commercial at the gas pump. So they're doing some stuff too. But yeah, so again, retail sales today, guys. So to put it out there, economists expect retail sales to rebound 0.8% month over month after falling 0.6% in March. Retail sales jumped 2.3% in March, which is the smallest surge since May of 2020. Core retail sales, which excludes automobiles, is likely going to go up 0.4% for last month in April, rebounding from a 0.4% drop in March. Retail sales fell for the second consecutive month in March. And again, I think it's one of those things that we're going to get positive reactions to that weak retail sales data because of inflation fears, but I could be wildly wrong. It could mean that the market's fearing a recession now, and if that's the case, then we don't want higher retail sales numbers. We want lower. But yeah, so increasing interest rate and cost concerns are weighing on consumers' propensity to spend. And if retail sales fall in April, it would mark the third consecutive month of reductions in retail sales. The last time 3 consecutive negative retail sales reports occurred was from August to October in 2015. So it'll be the first time that has happened in 8 years, if it happens. So again,
we had 2 in a row that were down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we had. Yeah, so it'd be in reductions in retail sales. So they're down relative to the previous month. They're still positive, but yeah, last time we came in at let me see. So yeah, last retail sales report we came in at last time we came in at minus 0.6%. I don't think we're going to do negative here, though. So they might be talking about actual negative numbers. So last time we came in at minus 0.6. Core came in at minus 0.4. And
so they're thinking up 0.4 this time, and it was negative 0.6 last time?
So they're thinking up 0.8 for month over month retail sales. For core retail sales, they're thinking 0.4. So core, which excludes automobile sales, they're expecting 0.4, and then on base retail sales, which is just everything, they're expecting 0.8. So I don't think we're going to come in negative today, but if we do, it'll be the first time in 8 years that happened here. But anything can happen. We've seen some wild fluctuations, like the manufacturing, the New York the New York State manufacturing data came in yesterday, and it was way off. It was like 10x lower than expected. So we'll see. So we can get some swings with this economic data, but yeah, we have about 27 minutes, guys. 27 minutes. Pepe,
a couple more crypto things. So somebody's asking, will retail sales affect crypto? No, not really. And it's not really going to affect the overall market too much unless there's just this huge surprise. Like if it was negative today instead of 0.4 or 0.8, something would happen, but it's not going to be far off. It's going to be close to that. It's not going to be a major market mover for anybody, maybe a little bit, but really not much. Right. And then PayPay, whatever. I mean, it was artificially pumped by 6 wallets in the very beginning. It's just a gamble. I mean, who knows? Yes, it could become the biggest coin in the world. Sure. Just through, pumping out with the amount of liquidity it has and everything, it can skyrocket with small, relatively small purchases, and then it could go to zero tomorrow. So if you like slot machines, then you might like
play this.
PayPay. And it might work though, so. But I'm even reading like this real estate blog that I get or whatever that's sent to me. I was talking about how there's not much business news today. There's really not much housing news either. I mean, we already talked about housing is hot, but it's also cold. It's hot in that there's multiple offers, but there's still less to sell and for sale than there ever has been. And multifamily mortgage outlook is going to be down for 23. Yeah, so people aren't buying as many multiple, like 4-unit properties, 8-unit properties. No.
Multifamily,
most institutions have put a pause on buying
commercial
single-family homes. No, single-family homes. I mean, there was a trend of to combat inflation. There was a trend of institutions going out and buying 1,000 or 10,000 or however many homes at a time. And when they own that many, the prices go up faster during times of inflation. So all it was a hedge. They've all put that on a pause, other than JP Morgan is still aggressively buying
up stuff,
rental properties, and then some AI stuff. But I'm actually helping work with a friend. We're making a little chat bot for mortgage that just answers all the questions that people have. The hard part with these AI chatbots is if you ask it 2 questions before it responds, it just gets like really confused. We're trying to figure out a way around that. And I mean,
AI
it's a pretty cool tool though.
Yeah, man. AI, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in AI right now. I think it's one of those sectors that there's just a lot of opportunity, I think, at this point in time with all that stuff. So, it'll be fun to watch to see how that progresses over time. A lot of people are scared of it. I think it'll just change production. It'll just make it to where you can produce a lot better, a lot more efficiently. And so, yeah, with Pepe, it's something that it's high risk, high reward. Like, it might keep ripping up, but I think I want everybody to understand something here, which is that generally when anything goes like this, right? So this is true in both stocks as well as crypto, is that anytime you get big moves like this, all right, so anytime you get big moves like this, you're always going to have a percentage of traders that get stuck. So you're going to have a lot of traders that ended up buying this way up here, and what happens when you get a large volume of traders that buy it like at the peak and then it slumps down pretty heavily like it has, those traders turn into bag holders is what it's called, right? They turn into bag holders, so they get stuck. And so a lot of the time these huge communities are formed around traders that are stuck. It happens a lot in penny stocks. It happened with like AMC and GameStop. It happened with BBIG, with CEI, with so many examples I can bring up, with Tilray, with Peloton, with BYND. And so you have all these people that are just desperate for it to go back up. And so I think whenever, we talked for the last few days about confirmation bias and about how strong confirmation bias is to humans. Like, human nature is very susceptible to confirmation bias. And so anytime that happens, I think you overestimate the likelihood of success. And again, I'm not saying Pepe might just ramp up. It might fly up and break highs. Again, I really don't know. But just be careful, guys. Just be careful.
Well, I want to point out too, like, I can't point to it, but see that spike up?
Yeah, right here.
I've read an article that was during that time, one of the first whale wallets, or, one of the first really big buyers. That wasn't one of the first 6 wallets. And his, I don't know how much it was, but it didn't look like it was too much, but let's just say it was like $500,000 or something like that, or probably more than that. But anyway, was the cause for that spike right there, was that one wallet. And because there really haven't been many huge wallets making huge purchases on that coin other than the original ones. But then some of those founders wallets started selling right after. So
right. So yeah. So it could be just getting pumped up by insiders. And I think it's good for crypto to a certain extent. Just be careful, guys. You don't want to put too much money into something that you like. This is high risk, high reward. So it might turn out well. It might go crazy. It also might fail dramatically. And so just be careful, guys. That's the best advice, is just, be careful.
Yeah, definitely be careful with anything. But yeah, especially this. But
definitely this. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to gamble, just put like a little tiny bit in there, but don't put a ton. But yeah, we're overlooking. I mean, a couple of people said it. The debt ceiling news is by far the biggest news. It's just that's news every day, so we kind of forgot about it. But it's news every day. But that's going to have a huge impact on markets. That progress in general.
Sure.
You know, we made a little bit of progress over the weekend with Yellen saying some things. But June 1st is the deadline now, so. That's by far the biggest news. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got 2 weeks, and yeah, that'll be something that we watch heavily here, just because it's going to impact the market a lot. Somebody else said, is retail sales going to affect crypto? The only way that it really is going to affect crypto is, so crypto market tends to follow the S&P with big moves. Not always. It's never a perfect correlation, but like a lot of the time the crypto market is going to affect, or the crypto market is going to be affected by the broader markets in general. And so if we get something where, and this is unlikely, I think Ben said it, but if this is something that we get like a huge brash reaction in one specific direction, maybe the numbers come in wildly outside of expectations, we're going to get a big move in the market. If that happens, probably. And if that happens, then we'll probably see a somewhat of a move in crypto. That's the way Bitcoin and other cryptos will be affected by this. But it's not going to be it's not going to affect it directly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a glass of water and say goodbye to my kids. So I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I'm getting a post. So let me look at the poll here. So we did a poll right now, and the poll basically said, does the retail sales release help or hurt the financial markets? 45% said it would help. 55% said it would hurt. Yeah, all good. Yeah, listen, I think Pepe is going to reignite the crypto market to a certain extent as well, which I think is good. I think it's going to reignite the crypto market, give some interest back into the crypto market. At the very least, it's going to bring volume and eyes. All right, we're also going to do a Twitter poll as well here. Also, do me a favor, hit the like button, bump the like number if you can, the like button if you can. And all right, we got our poll here about retail sales, how it's going to affect the market here. So we got a poll live on Twitter too. So give your boy a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. People, yeah. So I guess the question is, are we in a more recession fearing market right now, or a more inflation fearing market right now? Again, I don't know. Oh, hey, what's up? Some say that we can get an all-time high soon. How do you see that scenario, or do we try the October lows first? I don't know, man. I that's something where I genuinely just don't know what we're gonna get here. Let me see. So Ben,
I like this. You're going to be right back. I like this music first. Where do you get this music from? You just stream it?
Epidemic Sounds. So Epidemic Sounds is a license-free music software. So it basically, this is all license-free music that I can use without worry. And there's a huge library. I've had Epidemic Sounds for years. And so this is kind of a playlist that I've built up over years and years and years and years. So I built this playlist. It's got like 3 days worth of songs on it. Since I started streaming, I've been kind of building that playlist. Hard question. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. So Ben, hold it down for a second. I'll be right back, man.
So I like this comment, but I don't know about it. It says there's a study that even if you get the data before the market does, you can't profitably trade it. Well, I'm pretty sure you could. Like, that's all I'm saying is I'd like to figure out how to get that beforehand because I know I can make some money off that. Maybe not retail sales, but some bigger numbers. And Pepe, back to Pepe. I've been following that. I mean, if you go back, it was just 6 wallets in the beginning. And then they fabricated a story for marketing about one of the wallets making 1,000,000% or something like that, $1 million. But they just pumped the price up, and that person couldn't have sold it anyway, because if you tried to sell it, would have gone back down to 0. But that story did help it catch on, and it is where it is now, like number 40 market cap. That's crazy. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So yeah, you got to kind of know before the news. Yeah, news is different though, because you need to know the news before the news happens. I'm talking if I knew the actual data numbers, like Vopat was saying, if I knew those data numbers, what do you think, John? If you knew the data numbers for CPI before it was released, could you trade that and make some money? But the problem with that is it is pre-market. Yeah, you could, but it is pre-market.
Yeah, so I think so. I understand what they're saying, V. I think, but you absolutely could. It depends on what data release, right? Retail sales a little bit more ambiguous of a reaction than typical, but like something like CPI or PPI or something like that. I understand there's going to be some variance. It's not going to be an exact like 100% accuracy trade, but obviously, like if you know the numbers ahead of time, you can wait for there to be big polarized like releases where like the expectation, like as an example, say CPI is expected to show up at 6%. And say the number is going to be 7.5 or 8%, you could take a pretty safe short position based off of that number, even if you only held it for 15 or 20 seconds after the release. When CPI comes out and it's expected at 6% and it shows up at 8% or whatever, the market's gonna drop at least short term. Now it might rebound, it might move back up. But if CPI comes in much higher than expected there, 30% higher than expected, the market's at least going to get initially a downward response. And so it really depends, but it's certainly going to help the probabilities of your trading by far. And it's something I wish we had, of course, but yeah.
So if you had known about the 75 BIP rate hike beforehand, you would have lost money. Well, it depends on what you're trading. I definitely could have made money off of trading on the bond market or the treasury, because I know how that's going to be affected. But it's also, you got to remember the expectations.
Sure.
Like, it's not just that they did the 75 bips. It's how different was that from the general expectation.
Right. That's exactly right. And what it really is, so like rate hike decisions, I would say that's not going to really do much, because most of the time rate hike decisions come in as expected, so like most of the time rate hikes come in as expected. And so knowing the rate hike decision, I've basically the last 6 months, every rate hike decision, I've told you guys what they were going to do. Like this last one, we did 25 basis points. I told you guys a week before that, they're going to do 25 basis points. The previous one, they did 25. I told you guys they were going to do 25. And so rate hike decisions are pretty set. Like everybody kind of knows what it's going to be. And what influences the market more so from rate hike decisions is the press conference that Jerome Powell does afterwards. And so that's what ultimately influences those. But something like CPI or PPI, again, those are ones where you're going to have the edge in knowing the data ahead of time. Not really the rate hike decisions, because most of the rate hike decisions come in as expected. And so that's just kind of how you got to look at it, I think. CPI.
Am I going to take over, John? Am I going to take over?
Not.
I don't know if I could ever fill your shoes, buddy.
No, I appreciate it. No, you're good, man. You're definitely a good guest to have on. Ben is a mortgage broker, so he's like in a top one too, and so he knows his stuff, and it's all relevant. It's certainly more relevant than some of the other guests we've had on for sure. 2 more rate hikes. I don't know, man. I think I don't think we'll do 2. I think we might do. If we do any more, we might do 1 more, and then we're gonna at least pause for a session. I think.
I think it's pausing.
Yeah.
But it all depends on what happens with this debt ceiling too. I mean, that's
sure.
They might have to adjust it could go up or down because of that. It just depends on how it happens. But I think they're pausing. And that is like, I won't give opinions that this is an investment advice and all that stuff. But I really, in my opinion, think that we're done for the year. At most one more. And I don't really see a decrease but we don't know what the outside factors are going to be for the rest of the year, though. That's the problem. But based on the way the market is right now, I think we're pausing.
Yeah, I think inflation numbers have all been better. I think inflation is coming better. I think retail sales will influence it a little bit. We'll have to watch what they come in today. But I think inflation data has gotten better. Despite a lot of people not really wanting that, inflation data has gotten better over the last 6 months. Like CPI lower than expected, almost each one, lower than the previous time. So we have seen better inflation data. Now we're way outside the goal of the inflation goal. And so we're still well outside the 2% goal, but time will tell. But I think pause is, I don't know if we're going to do it yet, but I think if we do another rate hike, it's just going to be maybe one and then we'll pause. But of course, anything could happen in between that affects it. Can CPI predict retail sales? No, not really. I mean, you might be able to find some type of correlation each one, but it's not going to be super easy prediction, I think. Inside bar yesterday for SPY. Yeah, the SPY has been on a tear up recently. I mean, the SPY it's been terrible for day trading because the SPY has just been flat. If you look at the SPY here, we put up like a 10-day chart. Look how sideways the market has been. So the market has been incredibly sideways for the last 10 days, basically completely flat. Look how bad the market action has been here. I don't know how I've been making money too, but I have somehow. But it's certainly not safe money to make. But we've just chopped up and down, up and down. But we're green. I mean, yesterday we made $200 or so, but it wasn't like an easy day.
Okay, I want to just read something that Powell said.
Sure.
I sent this to you the other day. He said this 6 months ago, and this is what kind of confuses me. But it says, we do not need to see inflation coming down decisively, and good evidence of that would be a series of down monthly readings. But I've never thought of that as the appropriate test for identifying the restrictive levels. Okay, he's basically saying he doesn't need to see inflation coming down in order to pause. And so then I'm just like, is he going to keep raising it even though inflation is going down? So that's kind of contrary to what I'm predicting, but I still think it's a pause, but it might be one more. So we'll see. For sure.
I think anything can happen. But I think we could pause for sure. I don't know. It's one of those things where the Fed is not super clear on what they want to do, or not super clear on what their plan for that is, because I think they don't want to affect the market too much, but I think anything could happen. I think a lot of people thought we were going to pause last one too, but I usually go with what the expectations are, and so it's like if the banks are expecting a pause, I usually go with the pause. If the big banks are not expecting a pause, I usually just kind of go with what they're expecting.
I think you would win more than 9 times out of 10 if you took that strategy, because they know those people, they have access to data we don't have, and
exactly
they have connections.
Again, I think every report, like the last rate hike decision, for instance, I had a lot of people in the chat that were saying, "Hey, I think we're going to pause. I think we're going to pause." And I think you might have even said we were going to pause, Ben, but I can't remember if you did or not. You might not have said.
Oh, no, I said last time I said maybe a 5% chance of pause, but then 95%.
Oh, yeah, you were right. Yeah, that's actually right.
No cut. It was 0 for a cut, though.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, but for whatever reason, we had so many people in the chat last time that were saying, "No, we're going to pause." And I think, you were there, I think. So you and I were both like, "I don't know about that." And then people would get mad at me. They'd say, "Oh, well," and so I think somebody said confirmation bias. I think that's the confirmation bias, is that people want to pause. But because a pause is obviously going to be less restrictive on the economy, and it's going to help the economy grow a little bit more. But I just don't think. I think we got to go with what the analysts expect. The next Fed meeting is going to be.
While you're looking that up, I mean, they're going to keep raising that rate as much as they possibly can without harming the economy until they get down to 2% inflation.
Right.
But they just
Soft landing.
They feel, they want to keep that rate going up until we're down to 2%, but you just don't want to do that too fast. And that's why I'm thinking they just need a pause. I mean, maybe they might raise it later on in the year after they see what a pause does. I'm just saying next time I think it's probably going to be a pause.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole soft landing, for everybody at home that might not understand what we're talking about, so they raise rates in order to discourage spending. If inflation is really bad, they raise rates. When they raise rates, it affects everything. So it affects all these different markets because it affects their margins. And so when they raise rates, it affects spending. Businesses raise prices. It's more expensive to get loans and mortgages and all that stuff are indirectly affected by it. And so they raise rates to discourage spending. And when that happens, businesses lower pricing because spending dries up. That's the logic of it, and I think the last couple rate hikes, like we've had a lot of people that just want them to do like 75 or 100 basis points and just kind of rip the Band-Aid off. But Jerome Powell's even said, he said he doesn't want that to happen because he doesn't want to basically spark a market crash and then have to play cleanup afterwards. And so that's kind of one of the dynamics of it that everybody's been paying attention to. But I kind of agree with them. You got to understand the politics of it as well. Like Jerome Powell doesn't want to start a crash under his watch. And so, like Ben said, he wants to raise rates enough to where it can do what they're trying to do without causing a crash. A soft landing is essentially raising rates aggressively but without causing a recession. So that's what they're going to try to do. They're not going to go too crazy with it, I think.
Shorty, I'm not talking about 2% Fed funds rate. I'm talking about 2% inflation.
Sure. Yeah.
He's laughing, but yeah, Fed funds rate's going to stay around 5 for a while. But we're talking about trying to get down to the inflation number of 2%.
Sure. Yeah.
One thing that I like to talk about is, I've read some things in chat about like a recession is already here and all this other stuff. But
high unemployment is necessary for it, Or go ahead.
Yeah.
If I could.
Well, no, I'm just saying, some things that people don't realize is everything in the world is 20 or 30% more now. Like it costs 20 or 30% more than it did 3 years ago. And if you look at the Dow right now and you go back 3 years, we're at about the same levels. So if everything in the world is about, or in America is about 30% more, and we're at the same levels on the stock market, I mean, I know it's not directly correlated, but that's kind of like we're down. And so the recession is here because all the earnings should be up because everything costs more. All the profit numbers should be up. But I don't know. It's kind of, inflation itself is kind of artificially keeping stock numbers like the Dow and the S&P a little bit higher than they should be. So, I don't know.
I think that makes sense. I think it's a really subjective thing, I guess, at a certain point, because it's like, so a recession is defined by high unemployment, and that's the one thing that maybe we don't, that puts the recession thing away. It depends on how people define it, right? If you define it as 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters, then
that's the real one.
Yeah, for sure. But if you define it as 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters with high unemployment, the unemployment is the one that has kind of been the arguable one, which is that unemployment still remained pretty low. People are working, but I mean, it kind of makes sense if inflation and prices is so high. People have to work more now. So it's an interesting market. It's one of the weirder markets. Like I've streamed every day for years and years. This is one of the weirder markets we've covered for sure.
Yeah, I've watched this stuff for 20 years. Now, I've watched this stuff for 20 years just because of my job. I was hedging like 10-year treasuries. Like every month I was hedging like 10 or 20 or $30 million worth of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities for a company I work for. So, of course, I followed it really close. But I just need to say, like, you really know this stuff, dude.
Oh,
like, I learn from you every day. I mean, you really pay attention to this, And,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's kind of my job, It's kind of like I kind of have to at this point in time. And it's all been fun to learn. Like, it's all good stuff to learn. And a lot of people, they hear about all this stuff, but they don't really understand it. And so we're not trying to be experts here. Like, I just think it's good stuff for people to understand so they can watch it and understand for themselves. So if I could create a channel, like I think there's enough day trading gurus out there doing their own thing, and so I think this stuff is more important than any of that. So, but I appreciate it for sure.
But that thing I was saying earlier, I just want to say about, the everything being more expensive now. That's just a theory. I don't even know if it's like correlated. I'm just thinking about that. I mean, I'm sure somebody
feels
that
like
actually, yeah. I mean, it seems like it should be true, but I don't know if the cost of things directly affects the amount of revenue and like the size of. I guess it does affect the size of GDP, but I don't know.
Right. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half, guys. 1.5 minutes here. All right, let's get ready. So again, we have it in sub-only mode, so subscribe, guys. We cover all this data every day for free. We don't sell a course. We don't act like experts. We don't charge for any of our content. It's all free. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate it. Again, the numbers are dropping soon. Again, month over month is expected at 0.4%. We got about a minute and 10 seconds left, a minute and 15 seconds. So month over month for for core is expected at 0.4%. Regular retail sales are expected at 0.8%. I think base retail sales are a little bit more influential, but we'll have to wait and see what this shows. But be ready, guys. Again, subscribe if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. Retail sales numbers are about to come out in less than a minute now. Hey, thanks, Nick. Shall I buy gold? I'm in gold right now.
You should have a little.
It's a hedge, is what I was gonna say. It's like it's a hedge, so it's just a little bit. It's not like I'm betting my whole portfolio on gold or anything.
You should have a little precious metals here and there, and a little cash,
Diversify, 100%. But yeah, gold's been falling down the last few days. But gold is just kind of one of the ways I hedge. I have some long positions in like blue chips, and so one of the ways I hedge those are gold, because if we get weakness in some of the long positions, then we might get strength in gold or whatever. But do you work for Goldman? No. Of course not.
You know why? Why?
Yeah, I need that 2% a day.
2% today.
Yeah. All right, guys. Here's the data releases right now. So let's see what the data shows up as. Here's the release. And there's the release right here. So retail sales came in at 0.4%. 0.4% retail sales. 0.4% for base retail sales. Again, 0.4%. Core retail sales came in at 0.4% as well. So core retail sales were neutral. Base retail sales came in 0.4% lower than expected. And we are getting a fall in markets here. Again, 0.4% is what retail sales showed up as. 0.4%. Base month over month retail sales 0.4% versus 0.8% expected. And core retail sales came in as expected at 0.4%. So far, we are getting a negative reaction in markets. It's not a huge drop, but we are getting somewhat of a drop here down to 412s on the SPY. But yeah, so retail sales came in lower than expected. Month over month. So retail sales came in lower than expected month over month. Core retail sales came in as expected. And we'll put this number up on screen so you can see it. But market dropped initially, and now we are kind of retracing back up some here. But yeah, as expected here. And then regular retail sales came in as expected at 0.4%. And so we're going to put this data up on screen. Again, we cover this data quickly here, probably faster than anybody else. And so, again, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. But yeah, small drop, not a huge drop at all. We are at 412s right now on the SPY. The Q, which is a little bit more tech heavy, has dropped a little bit more. So tech getting a little bit more broadly affected by this, but it's still not a crazy amount or anything.
Mortgage-backed securities are down 30 bips on the day, that's a bigger move than I thought. That's how much they moved for the CPI release.
Sure. Yeah, and CPI
it's still pre-market. I'm just saying for them.
Well, so somebody's asking me what Canadian CPI came in at. So Canadian CPI came in at 0.5%. Last time it was 0.6%. So slightly lower than last time. Core CPI for Canada came in at 4.1% versus 4.4% expected. So lower than expected inflation data for Canada here. But base CPI month over month came in at 0.7%, so higher than expected. So base CPI for Canada came in higher. Core CPI came in lower. And so I would say it's kind of like a neutral reading. But yeah, so retail sales came in at 1.6% versus 4.2% expected. Retail sales month over month, 0.4% versus 0.8%. So all the way around, we came in either lower than expected or as expected here. And we initially had a negative reaction, but we're starting to move up some now. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out one of my sponsors. One of my sponsors is Top Step. You can kind of see my monthly graph here for Top Step. And again, if you want to day trade, Top Step is probably where you want to get started. Most pro traders are trading futures because you can trade currencies. So for all my Forex traders, you can trade currencies. But the big thing you could trade is the S&P 500. You can also trade the NASDAQ in futures with no PDT restriction. And you can kind of see my graph on the month. What Top Step does is they give you a demo and they test your skill. And so again, I can buy market, buy bid, sell the S just like that. I can short or go long. I might actually buy a little bit here. But this enables me, so we got a nice little move up. This allows me to be able to day trade the S&P 500 with no PDT rule. And what Top Step does is they test your skill. They give you a demo. If you can hit the target on the demo, okay, so there we go. We just cut it. If you can hit the target on the demo while following their rules, they fund you between 50 grand up to 150K with a 90% split. And so it's one of those situations where if you lose this, the base package is very cheap. It's less than 140 bucks if you use my link. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. But if you pass it, you still keep 90% of your profit. You can see just on the combine, I made about $60 in about 10 seconds just now. Day trading, just like I do in stocks and futures. And Top Step is the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions and fund thousands of traders a year. They are a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased in their favor. But it's genuinely useful if you want to day trade, but you don't have the equity of like over 25K in stocks. This is probably where you want to go. And again, it's just much cheaper to learn day trading this way. A lot of new traders lose money, and taking this challenge builds your skill. It genuinely builds you into a better trader. The Trade IQ section allows you to schedule rules for yourself, and then it'll alert you when it breaks. They'll give you free coaching. There's a ton of resources for Top Step. And so for that 130 something bucks, if you use my link and you get 20% off, you get a lot of stuff for very cheap. And so it's just genuinely useful for trading and it gets your feet wet without taking on a lot of risk. And if you're a good enough trader, you can legitimately get funded with a 90% split. So you're keeping most of your profit once funded anyway. But yeah, check it out. You can look at the link in the description as well. But yeah, now that I'm done selling out a little bit here, market's mostly sideways. Q is down over the last 2 minutes since the report came out. We're kind of consolidating in between the range of that first candle that we got from retail sales. SPY right around 412s. But yeah, pretty neutral response so far.
Oh no, that Top Step sounds almost too good to be true. I might have to like try it myself.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it really. I mean, like that sounds like a really good deal. You know, like I mean,
Well,
I don't know. They'll fund you. I mean,
yeah, it's a great deal. But you got to think of it like this, right? So it's a business for them, of course. And again, they're a sponsor of mine. But yeah, it's a business for them, of course. So like they're going to be making money if you get funded as well as if you don't. But it's still very useful. And again, trading is about learning how to perform under pressure. Right? You trade a regular paper account, you're not going to have any pressure. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, oh, I turned my $1,000 in paper into 200K. And it's like, well, sure you did. You could just keep on doubling down until you make money. But trading is about learning how to perform under pressure. And what Top Step does is it gives you a beautiful middle ground of pressure to where it's like, it's not the full pressure of like trading a live account with like my TOS account's got like 40,000 in it right now or whatever. That's a lot of pressure. If you're a brand new trader, that's a lot of pressure, you know. But a paper or trading account is no pressure. And so this is a great middle ground where it's some pressure, you know, like you want to pass this test. If you pass it, you have a lot of rewards that you get if you do pass it. But it's not the full pressure where new traders are just going to destroy thousands of dollars pretty quickly with like an account the size of my TOS account. And so it really is a good middle ground for new traders to get started, to learn. If you're good enough, you can pass it. But most people are going to fail because most day traders lose money. But that's kind of the point, is that it's a lot cheaper to lose a Top Step account trying to get funded than it is to put up, you know, 40K or 30K or whatever you need to be able to actively day trade stocks and lose that. And so that's really where like the value is, I think. But yeah, gold backed currency in August, SPY red 0.25% now.
so this news is, I mean, is it bearish or not? I mean, it's like, it's bullish in that retail sales were up, but
Inflation.
It's bearish in that it was bearish in that it's a little less than expectations, but it is up especially compared to the last 2 months. So
Yeah.
Is it bearish?
It's,
it bullish? I don't know. It's
I don't even know if I would call
neutral.
it that. Yeah, I think it's nuanced. I think it's more nuanced. I think it's kind of, I think you could interpret it as either one. I think like, so it's lower. So today the data came in either as expected or lower than expected. And so for inflation, it's bullish for sure. So like for inflation problems, for the Fed raising rates, this is a bullish thing because this is what they want. but if we're looking at economic growth that's bearish, right? It's less retail sales. So it's less economic growth, which is better for inflation right now. So it's kind of in the middle, I would say. Again, core retail sales were neutral. They came in as expected. So that's completely neutral for reading. Base retail sales came in lower than expected. So that's good for inflation problems, but maybe not so good for economic growth,
So over the past, sorry.
Oh, no, all good. Go ahead.
Well, just over the past 3 months, that means that retail sals are still down over the past 3 months, right? Because it was too low, and then one up 8% or 0.8% or 0.4%. So that means, so inflation is going to be seeming like it's a little bit more under control with the last quarter's worth of numbers. But go ahead.
Right. Exactly. No, that's exactly right. So like somebody else said on stream, it's worse for economic growth, right? So if you're looking at like from a purely like we want economic growth standpoint, it's going to be it's neutral and negative. So core was neutral, base was negative, base retail sales were negative. So if you're looking at economic growth, it's bad. But bad is good right now to a certain extent because of the inflation problem. So that's the kind of it's
okay.
It's nuanced.
Want to do this Canadian thing? You're about to say that, right?
Sure. So Canadian CPI came in at 0.5% for core. So lower than expected core CPI, which is for CPI, it's excluding food and energy. So excluding food and energy, core CPI came in lower than expected. With food and energy taken into consideration, so just base CPI, it came in higher than expected at 0.7 versus 0.4%. In Canada, though, the core CPI is more relevant. It's more watched. It's a bigger, more weighted release. So core CPI came in lower than expected for Canada. Regular CPI came in higher. Because of that, I think they cancel each other out. So I would say it's just kind of neutral. But I think Canada puts more weight on their core CPI numbers. So, so retail sales neutral for core. Base retail sales lower than expected. Year-over-year percentage was much lower now at 1.6% versus 4.2%. So that's where we're at right now. And again, the reaction that we've gotten so far was very slight. So like Q dropped a little bit. So Q is tech. We can look at like the dollar index as well. I think the dollar index is like super relevant here. You can see the dollar index popped up a lot on the core data which is surprising because, core retail sales being higher arguably should make the dollar index go up, but retail sales came in lower. And so by this logic, the dollar index should have dropped. And I think now we're starting to see that drop, but I do think it's just reacting to the regular market activity. So like the market activity dropped, the SPY dropped, the S&P 500 dropped. And so I think that's what made the Dixie move up. But I think by this release, the Dixie should have moved down. We're also seeing gold rebound up a little bit. If we look at like gold right now, we put gold futures up. Gold is starting to rebound back up as well. Look at gold right here. So gold is now still over 2,000. It's at about 2014 right now. So gold rebounding a little bit. Dollar index pulling back some short term. The SPY is down, but we're pretty neutral in terms of market activity here, I think.
I don't mean to get sidetracked, but I just Googled the Canadian CPI and my numbers that came up on Twitter were way different. What were you saying?
So CPI, core CPI for Canada month over month, 0.5% versus 0.7. Let me look at, So that's what, so these are the most recent numbers. And then the base one came in at 4.1% on the year, and 0.7% on the month. Is what I'm showing.
That's
yeah.
But I do have different. It's weird because I have different like Twitter things up. You probably have the real ones, but some people are saying 4.1. One says 4.2. One says 4.4. I don't know. But I'm going with what you said.
Yeah. So these are the real ones for sure. But let me see. So today we have So I'm looking at we have the home builder index coming out today as well. Business inventories at 10 o'clock too. Is that today? Yeah, that's today as well. So I didn't realize, but we have business inventories in the home builder data come out. It's not like huge numbers. These are certainly not like big numbers. We also have some Fed members like Bostic. Raphael Bostic is speaking today. We've got business inventories at 10. And then we also have the NAHB housing market index at 10 o'clock as well. And then we have Fed bar testimony. We got Lagarde speaking, so the ECB president. We've got Williams speaking. We've got Japanese GDP data coming out today. But yeah, a lot of the time I'm looking at Market Watch. I'll look at Bloomberg as well, but it varies, you know. I'm trying to get.
What's HSBC doing? It's up 2.5%. Is that what they were talking about in chat? I guess that is a little surprising. It's up 2.5% today.
So it's down. So HSBC's down today. If you're talking about the stock, that is.
It was yesterday. It was up 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday it gapped up. Today though, it's down in pre-market. It's down to like 38.12s, but it's still up over the last few days. But look at gold, guys. Gold popping up to 2018 right now. But yeah, I'm trying to get this VWAP thing set up. I want to buy a license. Oh, I think I need to update my quant tower. Let me update this. Yeah, so starting today when I stream, I should be able to use the VWAP on my chart. There we go.
I like all these, the market is manipulated comments.
Yeah, every time. I mean, they're not wrong
really
to a certain extent, but
it really is, though. I mean, it needs to be, because their words control the direction of our economy. You just need to go back to Machiavelli if you don't understand it. The fox and the lion.
Yeah.
It's purposely done to help the markets, not make it worse. You know, so yeah, they might change the employment numbers a little bit. They might change those CPI numbers a little bit, but that's just to help keep things under control, you know. But they can't be too far off. But I just have to say, like 2 years ago, when those inflation numbers were only still at like 5 or 6% and everything was up like 15 or 20%, that was a little baffling, like how far I felt they were off. But I don't have any hard data.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, let me update. No, absolutely true. Another thing that somebody said here is that sorry, .net. Anyways, sorry, distracted for a second. Somebody said good sign of a recession. Watch Home Depot and Lowe's. Yeah, Home Depot came out with their earnings today. So if you look at HD, they had a pretty big miss. I think they beat on EPS. They missed on sales, if I remember right.
There's also just a kind of a cultural shift in that people are
working from home.
I think that. Well, yeah, they're working from home, but you would think that because people are hanging on to their homes longer, because they're locked into those lower interest rates, that they would be fixing up their homes more.
Sure.
So that's probably why they were expecting better sales. But I don't see how that would change, because when you have to sell a house and buy a new house, you still have to go to Home Depot. So it's not really going to change too much.
Yeah.
But it is a good indicator, though. Home Depot definitely is.
Oh, for sure. Hold on, let me see. .net. Sorry, for the new quant tower update, it's asking me. I want to make sure that this is. Sorry, guys, getting distracted here. Trying to download something else on my computer. I'm always very careful downloading anything, especially running the stream.
Yeah, I was just looking at the mortgage-backed securities. So
yeah,
it's just down 20 bips today. It's about the same as it was yesterday, though. I mean, we were pretty much at expectations. So rates are about the same as they were yesterday. But we did have a big drop yesterday in the prices, which means rates went up about a quarter.
Gotcha.
Eighth or a quarter yesterday.
Okay, gotcha.
And the reason they went up yesterday is because they were digesting Yellen's comments over the weekend.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah, so you said June 1st is the new maximum time.
Yeah, hopefully we can come to an agreement before then. And we always do, but we got to do something, because if the economy or the government does lock down, I think rates are going to skyrocket a little bit. So we're hoping they come to an agreement. So
yeah, I mean, the market's been resilient. It's been pushing up a lot the last few months. if we look at the SPY here, for instance, SPY's testing lows now, but it's still pretty, it hasn't been the biggest reaction here, but the last 6 months, the market's been strong. October was where the last time we put in these lows, so October, but since then, we basically popped all the way back up to 415. I mean, we're still well off like the lifetime highs, which are right around 480s, but we're as time goes on, we're getting more and more close. Oh, we're actually green on the year now. I didn't even realize this. The SPY is technically green on the year. It opened up around 400s, so 404, 405. So yeah, we're technically green on the year on the SPY. I mean, we're still red over the last 2 years, of course, since we're basically red since 2022, of January 2022. But yeah, sorry guys.
So were you getting like that QT? I was just filling time while you're getting that QT data. Is that what you're looking for, or what were you doing?
Yeah, so I usually when I day trade, I usually day trade with the volume weighted average price. Top Step just recently did a deal with Quant Tower, and so Top Step does deal like you can on Top Step you can use any platform you want. Like you can use TradingView, you can use Quant Tower, you can use all these different options. Quant Tower is my favorite though because it's more like it's a lot like Thinkorswim, but you need premium access to get the VWAP. They recently did a deal where all Top Step traders can now get premium access to Quant Tower just for using them. So I'm trying to get that set up now so I can put the VWAP on my screen. So I'm having to download all this different stuff. But this
Well, while you're looking for that, somebody was asking where the retail data was. We took it down because it basically just was pretty much at expectations. Yeah, there you go, 0.4.
Yeah, there it is.
And then it was a little less at 0.7 on the month over month. Is that right?
Right. So it came in at oh wait, these are the expected numbers. My bad, guys. Here's the actual data. Sorry. So yeah, it came in at 0.4% on the month versus 0.8% expected for base retail sales. Core retail sales came in at 0.4 versus 0.4. So core was neutral. US were lower than expected here. And it's caused a negative response in markets so far, but it's not a huge drop. So it's not a big drop. We are at 412s right now, but I think anything could happen at the opening bell in about 40 minutes. So Dish is up 7%. I can't imagine that Dish is going to stick around. I think Dish is going to fail. I don't think Dish has any use. I think satellite dishes are becoming obsolete. And so, I'm not buying it. So y'all just be careful if you do.
Am I reading this right on the screen? What does it say? Like 0.4 versus 0.8 expectations? Or
sure. Yeah.
So it came in at 0.8, the month over month?
Yeah. So it is, it came in at 0.4% versus 0.8% expected. So
it was that different? I thought it was 0.7. I wasn't paying attention, I guess.
Yeah. So 0.8% for core, or no, it came in at 0.4 versus 0.8. So it came in lower than expected, which, is arguable about whether it's going to cause a good or bad reaction. But yeah, it came in lower. Sorry, I'm trying to get. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry if I'm distracted. I got to figure out how to get this set up. I want DX feed. Okay, I figured it out. I'm sorry, guys. Rhythmic. There we go. Okay, I got it. Figured it out. All right, but yeah, look at the Q dip. So Home Depot down a lot. Yeah, I wonder if there's a good argument for a dip buy in Home Depot. I think there's risk, of course, but usually my favorite trades to get into are dips. There we go. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Almost set up, guys. But again, let me know what you guys are planning for today. Y'all think the market's going to go up or down? Maybe I might sorry. I might do another poll here in a second to see if we get any change of sentiment after this retail sales report. So let me know if you guys think market's going to come in favorable, come in good, come in bad. All right, so I did get the new Quant Tower set up here. Logging into it now. The new one's pretty cool. I'll put this up on the bottom here like this.
So that's the Quant Tower?
No, so this isn't. So this is the new Quant Tower here.
Oh,
So it's got a heat map too that comes with it. Wow, look at that. Heat map is kind of like a different way to show data. No
Is
handle.
that like the volume? Like the bigger the volume is, the bigger the circle, or what is that?
Right. Yeah. And this is for the NASDAQ, it looks like. Here, but see, it's now it's having trouble logging me in. Loading symbols. Okay, so it worked, but when it comes to loading symbols, that's where. Okay, there we go. But yeah, look how cool this is. So here's the NASDAQ here at about 13.425. I'm just waiting for it to load. It's the newer version of it. No handle. What does that mean? Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to go back to the old version of it. I downloaded the new version, but if this isn't working today, that's all good. But it's a little bit too much data for me. I'm kind of a purist. I don't like too much.
Yeah, don't confuse yourself now.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like some traders will just put all this different crazy stuff though. Like it'll just look crazy. Here, let me cancel this. Oh, I see what I need to do. Hold on. I did this last time.
A couple of weeks ago, just take your time, John. Just a couple of weeks ago, somebody made like national headlines or whatever because he used that VWAP chart to make a ton of money, and he was a younger guy. But you still have to know what to pick, like which stock to pick that's going to actually react to the VWAP. Yeah,
100%.
So,
yeah, a lot of stocks don't. Like a lot of people, like one of the biggest comments I get, and I'll put this back up once it's set up. But like one of the biggest comments that I'll get is like, "Oh, the VWAP doesn't work," but it really is relative to what you're looking at. Some stocks, like if you look at the volume weighted average price, I like using the SPY because the SPY, like you can kind of see this here. I like using the 200 EMA as well, but if you look at this left side, the VWAP is just a trend indicator, so it's just telling you what the trend is, and it'll influence. It'll get influenced. Oh no. Where'd it go? Yeah, it'll be influenced by different market activity. Some days are better than others, but like if you zoom in here, the purple line right here is the volume weighted average price. If you look at this, it will go, like the stock maintains under it. That's basically the VWAP saying it's in a downward trend. Once you make this break right here, you can kind of see the clean break, and you notice like as soon as it makes this break and starts holding, it holds the volume weighted average price, and so it sticks around. So like the real way you trade it is you just kind of wait for confirmations. And so you wait for like holds. So like you can see it held here. It pulled back exactly that level and held. And so then that kind of gives you the signal to, hey, well, maybe the VWAP might be holding a little bit more. And so if you just kind of buy these pullbacks to it, you're just essentially betting on the upward trend. Like you can kind of see it here and here, and here. And so you're basically just betting on the upward trend, once you get that confirmation. But everything's not going to trend well. A lot of it depends on volume. So it really depends on like what the volume is of what you're trading. A lot of penny stocks will have like really low volume, so they're just going to be incredibly difficult to trade. And it also depends on the market as a whole. Like the market lately has not been very good. If we look at the SPY and we put up, again, I think I used a 10-day chart to explain it earlier, but this is the market lately. So the market has basically been looking like a little squiggly line here. It hasn't really been doing anything, probably just apprehension to trade, but you can kind of see the market is just essentially sideways. And this is the S&P. So I'll have to give it some time, but yeah. Man, I don't know what is going on with my login here. I might have to just go back to the old server.
Somebody said you have to have version 2 or something, level 2 or something to get what you're trying to do. I don't even know what it's talking about.
Well, I got the old one here, so I'm just going to put the old one up. But I'll get it. But Quant Tower, there is a way to set it up. So I'll just use the old one, which is right here. I'm pretty sure it'll still let me use it. I day traded futures with it a little bit earlier once the report came out. But even here, like you can kind of see the market's all about trends. And so it's all about finding a trend. So like here is the trend that we're in so far since the data release. So like here's the trend that we're in so far. Looks like 20-degree angle. So that's the trend so far. So like if we reject this top, we should get some good momentum back down here if the trend holds, but you never know if a trend's going to hold. It could really essentially do anything. But yeah.
Japanese stocks are up, but Suzuki went from 140 to 119 right around close yesterday.
So are Suzuki still bought a lot? I remember the old Suzuki trucks.
Suzuki motorcycles and like,
Sidekick. Yeah.
I think they're more into ATVs and motorcycles now.
Now, yeah. Yeah, I remember this car. If you guys remember this car, I remember this car from the 90s. I'm sure everybody, at least my age, is going to remember this car. The Suzuki Sidekick. They were cool. They were little, but the Sidekick right here, this thing, you know.
Suzuki. Yeah, my favorite motorcycle that I had was a SV650. No,
Yeah.
SV650. It's a little. It was so fast.
Honestly,
I upgraded some things, but it's a little cafe racer. I love that thing.
Yeah,
not that
honestly,
expensive either.
I used to have like a little 1970 GT80 Yamaha, but it's been so long. Like Carol won't let me get a motorcycle. I've argued for it a few times, but Carol's just telling me she's just worried about it. She thinks they're too dangerous. So, but I want one. But wife kind of put some red tape up there and not let me do it. But I get it. Honestly, she's known some people that have died on motorcycles. I would only ride it around the neighborhood though, but maybe one day. If I got one, it would probably be like a Harley.
Yeah, I replaced my SV with a Harley, but then I kept it for 10 years and I just got rid of it. And I have these, you're going to have to come over. I have these 2 electric moped scooter things that are really fun. We can ride around the neighborhood. They're made for a golf course.
Oh, that's cool.
But
that's
you
a good
can ride
idea.
it on the street too. They top
Can you
out
fit
like
the clubs?
Yeah, it has all that stuff, but the course that I live on, I'm not a member of, and so I can't really technically go out there. Sometimes late at night, don't tell anybody. I'll go out there with like a friend and we'll ride around on the golf course paths. But
nice.
Anyway, it's just they top out at like 30 miles an hour. We can cruise, and my kids love it, so we can take our kids on those little things. They're called Fat Bears.
Fun.
Fat Bears are really cool.
Yeah, I used to have a GoPed growing up. If anybody remembers the GoPed, so in like early 2000s, GoPeds were like huge, and like they would slap like these exhausts on them and stuff. I typed in Fat Bears and I get a bunch of literal fat bears showing
Scooter.
Yeah.
Cool.
On Google, yeah. Those are some heavy bears though. Oh, these are nice. Yeah, these are cool. Yeah, I used to have a GoPed with an exhaust. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Trying to find out what happened to Suzuki, but there's really no news. Maybe it was just some earnings that were off. I don't know.
Yeah, so check. I used to have one of these. I don't know. GoPeds must have died out. I haven't seen a lot of them lately. Okay, here's one. Yeah. So
I can't see it. I don't know.
Sorry,
are you showing that on the screen?
No, not yet. Here but yeah, you could slap some exhaust. These were like a hobby of mine when I was young. I used to like ride these around the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, I see kids with those these days.
Yeah, now they're all electric because the electric ones are just as fast, if not faster, than what this was. Yeah, and they're not driving your neighbors crazy. But look, so we did reject here on the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 did reject slightly. I don't know if it's going to hold, but it did reject some here. And so now it's actually breaking back up as soon as I say it. So it's now 8 a.m. Or it's out 9 a.m. market time. So let me put this up and then I'll have to do this. There we go. It's better.
Jeez. Gosh.
All right, guys. So tomorrow we have building permits, and I don't know how big of a release building permits is. I'll have to look back at my old streams. Building permits and housing starts. Is that tomorrow? I think so. So building permit data coming out. Yeah, so it's building permits and housing starts. I'm not sure what kind of stream I usually get with these though. Let me. April.
I used to have 2 or 3 screens, and now I just have one really big screen. And I almost want to go back to the 2 or 3 screens because I always just have one huge browser open, you know?
Yeah, I want one of those ultra wide monitors. Those are the ones that I do. I am kind of tempted to get one of those max ultra wides. I think I could replace the whole bottom row of these 3 monitors, and it would be much cleaner for me if I just got like an ultra wide one, you know?
Yeah, mine was one step down. I think those are like 70 inches or something, or maybe I think mine's like 60 or something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah, so this one that I have here is a So you can probably see it a little bit. But this one's a 37-inch, or no, 27-inch. This one's an ultra wide right here, the one that y'all see right here. And then this one is another 27-inch. And then I also have this one up top. The one that y'all see is actually my top. Oh, wait, sorry. It's my top monitor up there. So I've got this one, that one, this
How
one.
many do you have? Like
4. I have 4.
Oh, okay.
You
I
know?
only have one right now. I have laptops over here, but you know, I don't keep those on. That's a double monitor over there, but that's not connected to this. That's for different types of data. But then I just have one big one on here. I think, I don't know. I almost like the double screens more than the one big one.
Yeah, so I've kind of evolved over time. You know, it's kind of like my Pokemon evolution of monitors, where now we've evolved to like the final stage. I don't think I'll ever get any more. I might, but like I said, I might swap the bottom row out for an ultra wide one. But you know, right now they all work fine. So.
Okay, mine's smaller than I just said. It was like closer to 40. And I think the biggest ones are closer to 60. Yeah, that's what it is, or 50.
Yeah, I'm saying
but still.
Yeah, look at these. These are the cool ones. They have 50-inch monitors, which are cool.
Yeah, those are the biggest, yeah.
Or they're technically 49 inches, but man, I could just get 2. Oh, this guy's selling 2 for $1,400. Because I could just get 2. But the problem is that I like keeping this top one just one monitor. Like you get you have to kind of mess with it a little bit more for streaming if it's not like that, you know. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta Carol texted me. I gotta be right back. Hold it down for 1 second, Ben. I'll be right back, man.
Sounds good. Still, anybody know what happened to Suzuki? I was still trying to look at that. It must have been some earnings yesterday. Somebody says it's going to be red today. Well, I think it's going to be relatively flat. But I do like the bigger screens. It's like I forget to divide my browsers. And then I just have this one huge screen all the time. That's the problem. Okay, airline stocks this morning. I haven't even looked, but I'm about to. I'd assume they're down. Pilots are striking everywhere. The guy I work with just went to Vegas, and both flights there and back were all messed up, and they said it was because of maintenance issues. But we all know the reason the times were changed on those flights is because the pilots striking everywhere. Let's look at like. You can't see what I'm doing, but let's take a look here. Just look at Continental. No, United. They changed. I don't know. Not too big of a change. Like I said, I'd assume that they'd be down over the past couple of days. But I guess United is down a couple percent over the past week. It's not too much, or maybe 1%. It's like a delta.
Okay, I'm back.
We're talking about airline stocks. Somebody put it in the chat. I was thinking they were going to be down because of the pilot strikes, but they're not moving too much. I mean, they're, you know, they can't see what I was doing, but they're not moving too much.
Yeah, my favorite one is UAL. I think UAL is probably the strongest airline. I might be wrong though, but
I think that's the only one I have. Let me see.
Yeah, I think that's the safest one, but who knows? But that's my favorite one. I think is UAL.
Let me see which one I have here. Hold on. I'm long on them, so I just on these in this portfolio. Yeah, United's the only one I have.
Yeah, I think United's probably the safest one. I think there's still some arguments for the other ones, but I think the government's gonna protect these regardless. I think they're not gonna let some of them fail, you know. And I think United Airlines is the one that the government's not gonna let fail, you know.
I just called it Continental.
It's been a while. Yeah. Yeah, man, I've had this ear infection for the last few days. Chat was helping me. It looks like I'm gonna finally have to go to the doctor, but it's not good.
Alcohol in there. All eardrops are alcohol, but what do you think? It's gotten too bad?
I don't know. So it's been hurting for the last few days. Originally, I thought it was like a jaw pain at first, but I think it was just when I opened my mouth that I can feel it in my jaw because it's my ear. So it kind of radiates from my ear is what I think it is. But I kind of procrastinated going. And now today I'm waking up and I kind of got a little bit of cold. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so when was the last time you went swimming?
A while. I don't know. I think we went swimming the day before yesterday.
And then when did it start hurting? Yesterday?
So it's been hurting for like 3 days.
Okay.
And I'm a big procrastinator with the doctor, so I never end up going. But Carol's finally like, "Hey, bro, you need to go." But I think I'm okay. I tried putting in hydrogen peroxide eardrops. But yeah.
I used to do that too. It's really, if you want to kill whatever's in there, you really need to do just alcohol, and that's exactly what. There's no difference between alcohol and those eardrops, because we have a lot of ear problems in my family. As a matter of fact, my youngest is having surgery on the 24th next week to fix all that. But yeah, I can't go swimming without putting alcohol in my ears or I get infections.
Yeah, that might be what this is. It could be swimmer's ear, but whatever it is, it's just kind of. I hope it's not infected, but are my lymph nodes swollen? I can never tell. I'm not one of those people. Like, I can't ever tell if my lymph nodes are not. Carol might know, but I'll have to ask her. Ear canal, it's behind jaw. Yeah, I'm just gonna end up going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor though, but I'll be okay.
We have conflicting advice here. Somebody says peroxide. That's what my mom always did for me.
Yeah.
But I went to an ear doctor and he basically said all swimmers' eardrops are alcohol. It's the same exact thing. So I started using that and it helped a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say my mama was wrong with that peroxide.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh wait, so yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. I think. Hold on, let me check my login status here. Did it log me in? I've always used peroxide, but it's kind of like I never really know. The internet is what I used to base it off of, but yeah. I'll probably just go to the doctor. Usually my ears are okay. Like, they're usually pretty solid, but what I always did was I put water and peroxide equal parts, and then did like a drop. Oh wait, what the heck? Where'd my data go? So I tried to log in on this other one. Let's see if it actually works. But I think it might have disabled my data. Wait, so you use a Q-tip? No, I don't usually put a Q-tip in. Depends on how much. Okay, now we're in already. Somehow we're logged in. Okay. Whatever, I'm just gonna allow this to work. Sorry for caps. Drops ain't gonna help. All drops do is help remove water when it's trapped in the outer ear. You need to go to the doctor for antibiotics to treat inner ear infection. Yeah. Probably right.
Yeah. Completely off the subject. A client's just asking me if he switches industries, can he still get a mortgage? Because he's going from like manufacturing to oil and gas. And the answer is absolutely, yes. Especially if you're in the same type of position at each company. But even if you change positions, you can link it. But he has been out of a job for more than 6 months. So a lot of times you need to work at the new one. You need to work at the new one for more than 6 months, unless there's a really good explanation. And I've had like maternity leave and a bunch of other things. I've had longer than 6 month gaps be okay. But that's the type of stuff that's going to be on our real estate show,
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about that stuff on the real estate show that we're creating.
Yeah, y'all go subscribe to that. I can put the subscribe link. Let me see. Make sure. So yeah, y'all go sub to that if you can. I will put the link for that up somewhere here.
Okay, I'm gonna send him the link to the stream so he can see the like.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the link. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel or the realtor channel. The real estate channel. Give it a subscribe. We're actually growing that channel though. We are currently at 60 subscribers there. So it's not bad.
It's a little baby channel, but I mean, for the amount of effort we put into it, you've been with earnings season. I have a lot of good stuff going on in my life, but we're about to start focusing on that. That'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, y'all subscribe, guys. There's the link right there. There's the link in chat right there. Y'all hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. We'll cover all stuff real estate, not just local stuff, but like worldwide stuff. It'll be good. If you want to follow the market, the real estate market, what's going on in real estate, mortgages, all that stuff, subscribe.
Real estate stocks, we're going to talk about commercial, residential trends, the process of what's going on, like how, like first time home buyers will find it interesting. Sure. Yeah, it's going to be a good channel. Yeah,
for sure. Go subscribe, guys. Help it hit 1,000 subs. We hit 1,000 subs, we can monetize it.
We'll have a little party.
Yeah, we'll do something, do a giveaway or something.
Yeti coolers.
Yeah. So look, guys, so E-mini broke over that trend line and now it's kind of holding here. I could broaden the trend line, but I don't want to really get into the habit of doing that. But again, market's pretty flat. It dropped a little bit from the retail sales data and now it is back up to almost 4/12. So not the biggest reaction. We've had somewhat of a reaction. It's not the crazy big reaction that we get sometimes. We got about 15 minutes before the market opens too as well. So we'll see what happens here, but not the biggest reaction so far. We'll see if we can make our 2% today, Yeah, the 2% thing reminded me kind of like you get some of these creative finance guys on social media. And I think Ben even talked about how bad some of the advice you get on TikTok is for real estate. But they'll be like, yeah, you want to make $5,000 a month, talk somebody into giving you their house. If they give you their house, you could rent it out for $5K a month and boom, you get $5K a month. Creative finance, guys. That's the kind of stuff you'll see there. And that's the equivalent to like the 2% in trading thing.
News in 2 minutes? What news in 2 minutes? 1 minute? What news is Sam talking about?
Let me see. Oh, industrial production numbers. We got industrial production numbers. We'll cover this. We can cover it. Yeah, they drop in 40 seconds. We had the red book come out, but yeah, industrial production numbers are expected at minus 0.1%. Industrial production year over year is expected. Or it doesn't really have an expectation. So month over month is what we're looking at. Industrial production gauges the change in total inflation adjusted value of output manufacturers, quarries, and utilities produced. Expectations are minus 0.1%. And last time they came in at 0.4%. And so we'll see. But yeah, minus 0.1% is the expectation. 0.4% is what they came in last time here. So, and again, that data drops in about 3 seconds. Let's see what it shows up as. Sometimes they're a little bit late, but yeah, this data dropped just now. All right, so there's the release. I don't see the numbers out yet. Sometimes these other ones can be sometimes these numbers can be a little bit late. Okay, so there it is. The industrial production came in at 0.5%. So a positive 0.5% versus a minus 0.1% expected. So much higher industrial production numbers than expected here. So again, industrial production numbers. So the change went up much more than expected in total inflation adjusted value of output manufacturers, quarries, and utilities. So production increased.
Is that real that somebody put up there lumber futures are down a lot? Because that would be good for my fence. I have to replace on a rental property.
Yeah.
But is that real though? They can't be down.
Let me see. Let me see. Lumber futures symbol is what. So we can look at the futures so the exchange symbol is LBS. So let's look it up. Okay, so here's LBS. I don't know what the symbol would be though.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the most liquid version of it. Let me see if there's got to be a more liquid version. Chat, help me out. Chat's usually my encyclopedia here. So let's see this one. Okay, that one looks pretty bad too. Chat, help me out. What is the best? Yeah, it could be the wireless earbuds that I'm wearing. Actually, let me switch these out. Hold on, dude. That's actually probably a good idea. I've got all these headphone options, and so.
I've got some wired backup in case these run out. But yeah, I'm just asking about the lumber futures because a fence fell down at a rental property of mine. And a weird side note is the neighbor doesn't want to replace it. So he just wants me to buy it. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But anyway, let's find these lumber numbers.
Yeah, so really, I don't really. It all depends on contract size, but lumber is just not something that I'm used to looking at. All right, so here is lumber. Okay, yeah, so lumber futures, it's not 80% for sure. The last 6 months, lumber futures have dropped from since January of this year, lumber futures have dropped from about 524 down to 350. So it's definitely not 80%. It looks to me
Sounds like a big drop though.
yeah, so it's down to 344. So it looks like 30-40% is what this looks like to me. Not quite 50%. So from 520s down to basically 350. So it's not 80% for sure, but it's not small drop either. It's like 40%. All right, so we are up a little bit on the day. Got a little bit of a bounce back here too, but yeah, it's definitely not small. Hey, what's up, Ace? No reports really coming out today. This is basically all the reports for this morning. Here, let me reshare this so you guys can hear the music. 1 second.
All right, it's my turn. Hey, the stream looks a lot better today. Like our
cool, man.
clarity for some reason. But it's my turn to take a break. You got this, John? You gonna be
Yeah,
all
I
right
got it,
without
man.
me?
Yeah,
You
of
sure?
course, man.
You gonna be all right without me?
I'll be all right, bro. I might cry a little
I'll be
bit,
right.
but you know. Yeah.
I'll be right. I'll be right
All
back.
right. All right. Get the air in there and wash regularly. Ears are not designed to be blocked. They can be clean. Yeah. But yeah, lumber's down a lot, but it's not down like a crazy amount. But again, guys, check out Top Step. If you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step funded account program for futures. It really is the best of both worlds. Like if you want to day trade stocks, you could day trade the S&P 500 in futures. This is the E-mini. You can see I've traded this month. I'm actually up a decent amount over the last few days. So like here is my graph today. So we are up about 60. If you look at me this over the last month, we had a pretty rough turnaround, and then we ended up making our money right back. We're back to all-time highs of the month. So we'll see if we keep it up. But we're up about 1,400 here. Our drawdown is less than our our profit too, which is always good. But yeah, if you want to try Top Step, again, you can day trade short market order, sell market, buy market. You can, day trade the futures market, which you can day trade currencies and futures. You can day trade the S&P 500. You can day trade the NASDAQ. You can day trade gas, oil, silver prices. Basically, most pro traders trade futures. And you can do that and get your feet wet in futures without taking on a lot of risk. And if you're good enough, they'll fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split. Most people fail because most day traders lose, but this is a much cheaper way to lose, a much cheaper way to learn in the beginning. So if you, here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel. How will Tesla impact market today? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so again, market is pretty flat though since the last 30 minutes. Yeah, pretty light volume today. Volume's not crazy high. Pretty neutral. I mean, market's gapping down about $1.20 in the SPY, $1.25 on the SPY, but it's not a crazy big gap down. Again, we're in PayPal. We bought a little bit of Disney on the dip. Still green over the last day, but still a little red on the trade overall. PayPal is actually holding up okay, though. Yeah, I'm just worried this infection's like gonna be worse. I'll have to go to the doctor a little bit more and all that stuff, but it's been a mess. What other big economic releases though? So again, today we had that. Tomorrow we have building permit data, which again, it's not the huge release. Oh wait, Ben, you're muted. Oh, there you go. Okay, now you're unmuted. Can you swing with Top Step? No, it's just a day trading combine. They used to have a swing trading one. I don't know if they still do or not. I'm a better swing trader than I am a day trader too, so it might be something that I'll have to look for. You know,
Debt ceiling is every day.
Yeah.
Until June 1st.
Yeah. So they'll be going back and forth until June. So we got basically 2 weeks.
Hopefully it's resolved sooner than that, but I doubt it will be.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably going to push it to the brink, which is typical. You know? Yeah, so Yellen said June 1st. Biden recently met with McCarthy, which is the Democrat leader. Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Schumer. The group failed to reach a deal, but staff level talks are ongoing. Yeah, so for those at home, I'm reading this article. Debt ceiling or debt limit is a cap on how much the Fed is allowed to accumulate. Like basically how much debt they can get in. That's why it says debt ceiling. Congress is required to authorize the issuance of debt. In doing so, then allows the government to borrow to meet its existing legal obligations like Social Security and Medicare and all that stuff, military interest, tax refunds, all that stuff. So that's why this is kind of very important and relevant. So Congress increased or suspended the debt limit 78 times since 1960, according to the Treasury.
And they're pretty much meeting on that every day until it's resolved. It's rare to have economic news released on the weekend, but they even released some statements on over the past weekend. So
interesting. Yeah. Argue. So I guess the markets are not going to like it. Well, the market might be apprehensive, so the market might be like big. Okay. So the market moves and buys and sells, obviously. So like with stuff like this going on, the market might just be less willing. Like market participants might be less willing to take larger size positions because of fear of big brash reactions to news on this. That's what it is. So, and another thing is like a lot of the time ahead of economic releases, the market will be sideways in anticipation of it for that exact reason. The relevance here is that because of this, people might be less willing to take sizable positions out of fear of news dropping that influences the market too much. It's really hard to make bets when you don't know what's going to happen, so.
I don't know for sure, but I'm confident they will come to some sort of agreement. Because
sure.
If they didn't, it would be on the verge of catastrophic. Yeah, mortgage rates would skyrocket, and the dollar might not be I don't know.
Yes,
not be as much of a standard as it is, and things like that. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to watch for sure. It's just I think they'll get it straightened out. I think with all the stuff going on economy-wise over the last year, that they're going to do their best. They'll come to an agreement. Yeah, I think so too. All right, markets push it back. We got about 3.5 minutes. I'm probably not going to keep this stream going super long. Like we're going to trade. Stick around. We've also been worried about raising our size. So we also have been trying to raise our size in this. But we're probably going to stop streaming. My guess is for 10 o'clock market time, just because I got to go to the doctor. I think I got to go get my ear checked out.
My young man is graduating from preschool today, so I got to go too.
Oh, that's great. Hey, congrats, man. That's cool. That's always fun, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I posted this one a little bit later on the Twitter account, but yeah, that's cool, man. Good luck with the doctor. Hey, thanks, Mo. Yeah, I think I'm all right. I know my fever's not super high, But I do feel a little off this morning. That's the only thing. Like I'm feeling a little off. I ended up taking they said oregano oil capsules can help. So I ended up taking some oregano oil capsules. I don't know if those are like messing with my stomach though. I just need to go to the doctor and get on actual antibiotics, I think. No doctor stream. Yeah.
There is a official meeting today at 3 p.m. though. So somebody was asking about that. Debt ceiling meeting at 3%.
Yeah. Varen says market has gathered strength.
3 p.m. Sorry.
No,
3 p.m. My bad. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, all good. Yeah, Chris says no doctor stream. Yeah. No, so a long time ago, I had this weird stomach infection, and this was like years ago. This was like a year and a half ago, and I ended up having to spend the night at the doctor, and I was bored, and the TV didn't work, and so I literally just had my laptop, and I ended up streaming from the hospital with the IVs in my arm, and everybody was like, "John, you're crazy," and I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm bored," you know. And so, but yeah, it ended up becoming like a stream that everybody kind of laughed at. Not laughed at me. They respected the hustle, I guess. But yeah, that's what Chris is referencing there.
You got to take a day off every once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Like I was at the doctor. I was at the hospital. I didn't have anything to do. No TV. I was just kind of sitting there, and I'm up early in the morning anyway. So I was just kind of like, well, I can press stream. So, oh no, all good. Yeah. So Varen says the market has gathered strength and made a base here. It should move up. Let's see. I don't know. I think in terms of short-term momentum, I think it's neutral. I think we moved up a lot yesterday. The day before that, though, we moved down a lot. And so I think right now we're pretty neutral, where yesterday was a good green day. Like we moved up yesterday, but it wasn't a huge day, and we're right around the middle range. So I think we can do either one. The beach one was fun. Yeah, the beach one was right in the middle of like AMC and GameStop craziness in 2020, 2021. So I had to stream then. Too much.
Yeah, my eyes did not leave my phone during that time. Like I was constantly looking at charts for about a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of fun streams, dude. We streamed at the beach, covered all of it. We streamed on the balcony at the beach. It was fun, you know. All right, there's the market open, guys. So the market's up a little bit right ahead of the open here. The Q's moving up, so tech's moving up a little bit ahead of the open. We'll see if the open affects it at all. But yeah, so far markets are just kind of going up and down. We'll let it stabilize first. I'm not going to take any huge trades here. Yeah, that's right. Show always goes on. That's right. We try. We try. All right, so getting a little pullback here, but again, what I'm noticing today, everybody at home, is that the market's a little bit quiet today. The volume is light. We are in the middle of summertime, or at least right ahead of summer. So the market's a little quiet right now. So yeah, just give us some time. We're gonna trade, but we're gonna let the market move a little bit first, I think. All right, getting a little bit more dips. United Airlines pumping back up a little bit. I'll put the dollar index up here. Here's the Dixie. Dollar index is pretty flat. Got an upset baby.
Oh, can you hear
it? Just a little bit, yeah. It's all good. It's not super loud.
I probably need to get going anyway. Just take care of a couple of phone calls, and it was fun this morning, though.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Y'all see Ben again. Ben will be back on the show sometime for sure. And again, if y'all want to check out our real estate channel, that's a great way to help support Ben and both of us really. So yeah, check out the real estate link here, guys. If you need a mortgage as well, if you're in Texas and you need a mortgage, check out Ben. Ben is a mortgage broker here in Texas. And so if you're in Texas, anywhere really, and you need a mortgage with a great mortgage broker, go to applywithben.com. I'll put the link up. And yeah, y'all go check him out. Reach out to him. Here is the link right here.
Yeah, I guess they can't see my name because Top Step's covering it, but Top Step is much, much more important. So.
Oh no, there you go. Well, I think it might affect.
It doesn't even say it anyway. But anyway, Benjamin
Yeah.
Randall,
Yeah.
mortgage man, applywithben.com.
Yeah.
See you guys
Check it
later.
out.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. Have a good day, man.
All right.
All right. Yeah, Ben's a good dude. Good mortgage broker too. He's like a big mortgage broker, so he's not, he's not small at all. And so check him out if you guys need a house, need a loan, need a mortgage. Check him out. Market's popping up a little bit though at the open. Yeah, maybe Varid. I think we're a little bit too early to tell. I think the market's moving up now, and I hope you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Again, I truly do hope you're right. I'm always a market optimist. Like I want to see the market go up, but. All right, we got a little dip here, so market's been strong. I'm gonna buy this pullback and maybe add a couple contracts here. All right, so we are in 2 contracts now. I like the retracement. Still pretty early for me to take a big position like this, but it's all right. We got a cushion on the day. That's the only reason I'm taking a larger position like this. I really like this this bounce line here, but I will start to cut it too if it starts to struggle too much to break. And I'm gonna have to cut it. So we just lost some there. I don't know how much we lost, but it wasn't. It was like a couple hundred. Yeah, we're down like 140 right now. We'll move back to the regular micro. I like the pullback too. I thought the pullback was reasonable, but that pullback's a little bit too much for me here. And maybe it retraces back up, but we will pivot back down. Part of profitable trading is just protecting your size, And so that's what we're trying to do here is just kind of protect our size, not take too crazy of a position here. Look at the retracement here. All right, just kind of consolidating here. I'm letting the market turn a little bit. I could buy a little bit more, but I want to give the market time to bounce. SPY's trying to move back up today, so that's not bad. Here we go. Market's popping back up. All right, so we're trading the regular E-mini. I'm doing a little bit off stream. So we got faked out, and then we called it again. I'm going to go ahead and take the rest off. So that should bring us back to green on the day. I'm not exactly sure how much. Okay, so we are green on the day. We are back to green about 15 bucks. You want to see the P&L? So give it some time here. We got another little pullback. I just don't want a rejection too much here. Might buy a little bit on this dip now. There's 4 contracts. Market very fake outish, kind of faking out over and over again. Again, volume is light, so we're still pretty premature in anything we do. As long as we hold over the VWAP, we're doing all right, though, I think, in market activity. Market's trying. All right, so we're pretty flat here. I like the down wicks though. The down wicks look good. Market's struggling now though. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut this here. Just kind of getting faked out a lot, unfortunately, today. Market's starting to turn again. I'm going to let the market settle down a little bit first. Market's so sideways right now. Just going to kind of sit back. See if we get some flush breakdowns here. Yeah, I think the market's again, the volume is just light today, guys, so just be careful. Getting a big flush breakdown now. A lot of weakness coming through. We'll see if we can maybe buy up some blue chips if we dip enough, but not yet. Dollar index is pretty flat too. I'm trading the E-mini. Again, the market's just showing me choppiness right now, though. Like, there's just not really any good edge to attack, I think, right now. It's just so choppy and sideways. Market went up to 412s, back down. What are you trading? E-mini, S&P 500 going up. Why is this going down? This is the E-mini right now. So what you're looking at is the E-mini, man. This is the S&P 500 E-mini. So you might be delayed, Verum. You can look at the SPY and see what the SPY is doing. SPY is testing the lows of the day now. So that's what we're in currently. Yeah, we kind of slowed down our trading here. We tried to get into a couple trades in the beginning, but the market is just kind of like here's since the opening bell. Market has gone up and down and up and down. So we got to just let the trend play out first. There's not really any trend right now. It's just kind of up and down sideways action. The best thing to do when this happens is just wait for the market to confirm a trend, which we don't have yet for sure. Market is very light in volume too. Yeah, your trading view stuff might be a little delayed, Varen. Yeah, market's basically right back up. There's a troll. Yeah. I mean, they're just trying to get me to engage, which I'm not going to do. You know. Yeah, like me taking a loss, them trying to critique the trade. Like I said, they're just trying to poke buttons. It's all good. They just get banned in here. But yeah, we're starting to break highs again. We'll see if we keep it up. Market's basically popping back, just broke highs. Just such a volatile market right now where we don't really have any big edge. Yeah, for sure, V. Yeah, but Varen, man, listen, we're so early in the day that maybe you're right. You know, maybe you're right. But so far today, the market has gone up and then gone back down and then gone back up. You know, so I don't know if we're really there yet for a trend. We got a huge upward move right now. So, you know, we'll give it some time. But look at this big move. It already broke past the stream. That's a huge move, too. Look at the Q. But again, still on the day. It's still too early, man. You know, we're in the first 15 minutes of the market open. So I guess like the nature of the market is that we could essentially do anything right now. We could go up, we could go down, we could go sideways. Like a 3-minute green move doesn't make anything right or wrong, brother. You know, I hope you understand. I'm not trying to critique you. I'm just saying it's way too early to tell what the market's going to do today. You know, market could turn and come all the way back down. Nobody really knows. And so it's really something that we got to wait and let time play out. Yeah, we might start to buy this dip now, but we need a larger dip. Yeah, maybe. I hope you're right, man. I'm not saying I disagree with you, Barrett. It's all good. Dollar index is starting to flush breakdown too. Yeah, AMD flying. Really depends on if the market can fight its way back up to 413. 413 is the previous closing level. It's the price at which the market goes from red to green, green to red. So 413 is that level. That's the big level. And again, I'm not really feeling 100% today, guys. I'm nauseous. Yeah. Market looks like it's ran out of strength on the upside here. We'll look for a little pullback and then buy the dip here. Look at the Q. So tech, I think AMD is what Pawn said is dragging the market up right now. Look at AMD. So AMD up to basically 101 right now. That's what's ripping the market back up to. I hope it continues, honestly. Microsoft, 3 o'clock, I think. Need Tesla to join the crowd. Yeah. All right, so there's the dip we're starting to get here. We could maybe buy like a little piece here, 2 contracts, but it's small. And I'm not going to push too hard today. We've had a pretty good couple of days. We're up about 1,400 on the month. I'm not going to give too much back here. Market is just wildly volatile right now. Yeah, this is very crazy market, guys. Y'all be careful. I'm going to cut this and then probably just sit on my hands. There's no real range or edge today. Market has basically come all the way back down to the VWAP here. Yeah, y'all be careful. There's just no edge right now. It's huge, super rangy, guys. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down. Y'all just be careful. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Who was telling us the market was going to go? Varen. This is what I mean. Like, market is just kind of completely choppy, going up and down and up and down. Head fake city. Y'all just be careful. It's still way too early to tell what the market's going to do. Market could do anything. And so y'all just be careful, man. We don't really have no idea what the market's going to give us today. It's still way too early. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, yeah, all good, DG. Yeah, man, no worries, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, if you want to check out Top Step is a funded account program for futures where they give you a demo and they test your skill. And if you can hit the target on the demo while following their rules, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split. And this is the most legit futures funded program in the world. They pay out millions every year to their funded traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. And it's just genuinely the cheapest way to learn how to trade without taking on too much risk. So it really is the cheapest way to learn. If you want to check it out, check out Top Step. Again, great way to help support your boy here and support this channel. Again, there's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade and short the futures market with no PDT restrictions. And again, Top Step is the most legit futures funded program in the world. Check them out. Great way to help support your boy and support this channel here. And yeah, guys, y'all be safe. Good luck. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor, but it really is a good way to help support the channel here. Here's the link. Really is the cheapest way. Like if you're trying to learn day trading and you don't want to take too much risk, there's the link for that. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel. Let me see if there's any news that just came out. So the base package is about 130 something if you use my link, about 130 something bucks if you use my link. And again, there's no PDT rule. Look at this E-mini breakdown here though. And again, there's no PDT in futures. Again, really is just the cheapest way to learn. And so if you want to check them out, again, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. You get 20% off. It really does make sense here. So if you look at Top Step, it's actually a really reasonable ratio here. So like base package, if you use my link, you get this for like 140, a little bit less than 140. Your profit target is 3K. You can't lose over 2K total or $1,000 a day with 5 contracts max. And 5 contracts is plenty. It's absolutely plenty. But yeah, this is what I mean is that the market completely turned. Now it looks incredibly weak. And so y'all just be careful, guys. Like really, there's no reason to take a crazy amount of risk here. Y'all just be smart and be careful on days like today. The market is super choppy, just eating traders. So y'all be careful. But there's many different packages. And again, it's just the point is like, look, most day traders lose money. So most day traders on Top Step are going to lose money. But that's kind of the point is that there's no is that it's a lot cheaper to lose money and test yourself on Top Step than it is to put up, the money yourself. And again, if you look at this, funded trader payouts, they paid out almost 8 million since 2020. They fund about 600 traders a month. They've been around for over 10 years. The minimum time to get funded to a funded account is about 8 days. Average payouts processed within 7 hours. And so again, genuinely useful. And you can see that once you're funded, there's a 90-10 split, and you keep 5,000 of your first profit. 5 winning days, you can withdraw, fast payout processing. Yeah, there's dedicated funding coach. You can use up to 3 express funded accounts. You can request more buying power on a larger loss or a larger loss limit. You get your first payout bonus once you're funded. And again, free coaching, community, a lot of support, all that good stuff. And so Trade IQ. So check them out, guys. Again, great way to help support the channel. You can use the link included in the description. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Chart Prime. Another one of my sponsors is Chart Prime. And so they are a trading view indicator service that can be really powerful here. I mean, look at this. So I'll show you the, my favorite type of way to use Chart Prime is on my favorite way to use Chart Prime is on an hourly chart, because on an hourly chart, they can just be powerful. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. They are a sponsor of mine as well. But like when you look at Chart Prime here, again, this is just custom indicators. So it's like you can use them in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. But like, look at this here. They show you candlestick patterns. Like, look, reversal down. And I can't fake this. Like I'm actually showing you this. So again, they give you these reversal signals. You can see the reversal down, big drops, reversal up, big bounce. And these don't repaint either. Even the bearish engulfing candles are powerful. Look, drops. Look, bearish engulfing candle, drop. Bearish engulfing candle, drop. Possible reversal down. And every candlestick represents an hour. So you get actually a long time of edge here. Possible reversal down, drop. Possible reversal down, drops. Possible reversal up, bounce. Possible reversal down, drop. This one might have been wrong, but this one was right. Again, I think the big edge is finding multiple showing up together at once. So like you can see here, you get the multiple showing up together at once. You get a nice little bounce there. And it can just be useful. And again, you can use them on shorter time frames as well. So like here's a 1 minute chart, or here's a 5 minute chart. Actually, I like using these on a 5 minute chart the most, aside from the 1 hour, that is. But like, look, here's a 5 minute chart. Look at this. This is yesterday. Reversal down, drop. This one might have been wrong, but look, reversal down, drop. Reversal down, drop. Reversal up, bounce. Reversal down, drop. When all, again, the big edge is finding multiple show up together. Like, look at all these showing up together in like a 15-minute period of time. And then look at the big bounces that you get afterwards. Again, multiple showing up together here, reversal up and the bullish engulfing candle. Nice little bounce. And so again, check them out. They're like 35 bucks a month as well. So they're pretty cheap. They're like 35 bucks a month. So they're just custom indicators. They're pretty cool. But they're a sponsor of mine as well. So I'm biased in their favor. But yeah, you want to check them out. Here is the link. Yeah, I'm going to go to the doctor, guys. I'm not really feeling. Okay, so wait. Let me get this straight, Varen. No offense to you, man. Varen. Genuinely no offense to you. But, like, you're calling the downward action after the drop already happened, brother. You know? So, like, prior to this, you were saying the market was going to bounce longer term today. Now, after the drop, you're saying the market's going to drop. And so, as long as you're not trying to make predictions and you're just calling the market Varen, that's fine. But yeah, 10 minutes ago, you said the market was going up. And then you said, see, I was right. And you tried to say, I told you so. Just a little fun fact, guys. For anybody at home, if you try to tell me you told me so, you better make sure you're right. Because if you're not right, I'm going to bring attention to that. Like, Varen, listen, no offense. You were wrong, sir. You said the market was going to go up. Market is basically broke down. And it's still too early. I told you guys it's still way too early to tell. So y'all be safe. I'm going to go to the doctor. Y'all be good. Love you all. I'll see you guys later.